The high society heiress fainted and discovered she could hear everyone's inner thoughts. She looked at her beloved, who was trembling as he cried, only to hear him complaining that faking these tears was exhausting. Why hasn't Sister Liu come to comfort me yet? If it were before, and I cried like this, she would have been heartbroken for me long ago. After 5 years abroad, could she have really fallen for that bastard Lin Feng? This time, I must make her divorce Lin Feng quickly. The son-in-law of the Liu family can only be me. I want to become the most noble man in H City. Liu Ruyan's pupils contracted. She couldn't believe these were Fang Yuan's inner thoughts. They had known each other for over 10 years. He always acted as if he were above worldly desires. But now, his mind was filled with such things. She felt that being able to hear inner thoughts was too absurd. She must have hit her head too hard and was imagining things. But then, she heard another voice. Even though Sister Liu and Lin Feng are married, her heart belongs to me. All my efforts over the years were not in vain. I absolutely cannot panic now. As long as I'm back, no matter what I say, Sister Liu will listen to me. Money, identity, status, everything that belongs to Sister Liu is mine. Liu Ruyan squeezed her eyes shut, clearly hearing Fang Yuan's incessant rambling thoughts. She could no longer deceive herself. The blood in her veins felt like it was freezing. What did the man she had loved for years take her for? Liu Ruyan's eyes flew open in extreme anger. She glared fiercely at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was frightened by her gaze. Anxiety filled his heart. He grabbed her arm and asked in a low voice, "Sister Liu, what's wrong?" Liu Ruyan did not reply. Fang Yuan's anxiety grew stronger. Just as he was about to say something more, the doctor reminded them that the patient needed quiet rest. Family members, please take note. As soon as the doctor finished speaking, Shuru pulled Fang Yuan's hand off Liu Ruyan's arm and disgustedly threw it aside. Fang Yuan suppressed his displeasure and said gently, "Auntie, I want to stay here and take care of Sister Liu." At this moment, my expression was calm. I spoke up. "In what capacity are you staying to take care of her?" "I am Liu Ruyan's husband. Taking care of her is my job. Who the hell are you?" Although I plan to divorce Liu Ruyan and stay away from them, but before that, I have to vent all the anger from my past life. Fang Yuan bit his lip and turned his head to look at Liu Ruyan. In my memory, whenever Fang Yuan showed this aggrieved expression, Liu Ruyan would make the person who wronged Fang Yuan pay the price. But this time, Liu Ruyan's expression was placid. She didn't even spare him a glance. Fang Yuan clenched the hem of his shirt with both hands. His eyes welled with tears. "Sister Liu." Liu Ruyan spoke her first words after waking up. "I want to rest. Everyone get out." She had ignored Fang Yuan's grievance and didn't even want him to stay. Fang Yuan's face instantly turned pale. He didn't understand why Liu Ruyan had suddenly become so cold. When they spoke on the phone before he boarded the plane, he could still feel her warmth, but now was clearly not the time to clarify things. Fang Yuan wiped his tears and forced a smile. His teary eyes were filled with hurt. "You get some rest. I'll come visit you again tomorrow." But in his heart, he thought, "It must be that while I was away, that bastard Lin Feng has bewitched Sister Liu. I knew he was no good from the start, following Sister Liu around all day. He's absolutely shameless. Sister Liu's husband should be me. Only by becoming Sister Liu's husband can I escape my current lowly status." Liu Ruyan couldn't listen anymore. She gritted her teeth and growled, "Everyone, get out!" Fang Yuan sniffled and quietly got up to leave, his back a lonely figure. Shuru tucked Liu Ruyan in and said, "Ruyan, get some good rest. Father and I will be right outside. Just call if you need anything." Liu Ruyan nodded and closed her eyes. I just wanted to leave quickly, but just as I was about to turn, Liu Ruyan suddenly opened her eyes from the hospital bed. "You stay." I lowered my eyes and gave a mocking smile, walking towards the hospital bed. Only Liu Ruyan and I were left in the hospital room, without the noisy inner thoughts. Liu Ruyan's tense body relaxed, but as soon as she relaxed, intense pain shot through her entire body. I asked indifferently, "Are you in pain?" Liu Ruyan didn't say anything. I raised an eyebrow, sat on the chair by the bed, and asked again, "Are you itchy?" Too embarrassed to tell the doctor? Liu Ruyan's gaze was sharp, as if asking how I knew. I gave a faint smile and said nothing. I thought to myself, after all, we were husband and wife for 3 years. How could I not see it? Liu Ruyan frowned slightly, looking completely baffled. 3 years as husband and wife? Is he talking about me? But we only got married yesterday. Do you want some water? Liu Ruyan nodded. I stood up to get water, staring blankly at the flowing water. I did it. I managed to face Liu Ruyan calmly. Does this mean I can let go of this woman? Could I cast aside the past from my previous life and try to start a new life? Actually, thinking about it, no one can live without someone else in this world. There's no love that doesn't fade. I should look forward to. I absolutely cannot carry my love for Liu Ruyan into a new life. I turned off the water dispenser and returned with a cotton swab. You can't drink much. I'll use a cotton swab to moisten your lips. She looked at me silently. Although she found my inner thoughts strange, she could sense that I once loved her deeply. This contradicted her perception. She always thought I married her because the Lin family was in decline and wanted to use the Liu family's power. There was no affection involved. Thinking of my power-fawning parents, a look of disgust flashed in her eyes, feeling that such parents could not raise a good son. But now, reality had slapped her hard in the face. The man she thought loved her was actually full of schemes, while the man she thought was scheming was the one who truly loved her. How ridiculous. I put the cup down and sat. After a moment, I didn't want to face her. I stood up and said, "I'll call a nurse to take care of you." Liu Ruyan's face darkened. "No, I don't like strangers taking care of me." My eyes widened. I suspected she'd hit her head too hard. After a moment, I sat back down and said, "I've already told your mother. I'll take care of you until you're discharged, then we'll get a divorce." Saying the word divorce, my shoulders slumped in immense relief. As if the nightmare of my past life had vanished, Liu Ruyan showed no emotion. The word divorce didn't stir any emotion in her at all. I lowered my head and stared at the floor, a mocking smile flashing in my eyes. How foolish. In my past life, I actually thought I could use love and wholehearted companionship to move this woman. She's clearly such a cold-blooded and heartless person. She has so little love to give, and she gave it all to Feng Yuan. There was nothing left for anyone else. Past life. Liu Ruyan gradually realized something incredible. I have experienced a future that others have not. This was beyond her comprehension. If it were before, she would have found it absolutely unbelievable. But now she felt it wasn't impossible. She stared at me intently. "We just got married. If we divorce now, what will outsiders think? Have you thought about that?" I didn't look up, missing the complex emotions on her face and in her eyes. "We don't have to announce it for now. There's no such thing as a wall that can keep a secret forever." What does she mean? I suggested we divorce. Shouldn't she have happily agreed immediately? After all, she hates doing things she doesn't want to do. Being forced to marry me made her furious. From then on, she grew to despise me even more. I took a deep breath and pushed away the bad memories. I looked up confused and said, "You don't want to divorce me?" Liu Ruyan avoided my gaze. "It's not that I don't want to. Divorcing now is not a good idea. It will cause trouble for me." I nodded. "Fine. I understand." Liu Ruyan frowned. "What do you understand?" She wanted to know, but my mind was blank. She had no way of knowing the answer. "You should sleep a little more. We'll prepare food for you when you wake up." I stood up, and Liu Ruyan quickly asked, "Where are you going? You being here won't disturb my sleep." I looked utterly astonished. Liu Ruyan gave a light cough and turned her head away. No. If I wasn't mistaken, she was actually blushing. I must be seeing things. Liu Ruyan's expression changed, glaring at me unkindly. I was startled and tilted my head in confusion. "What's wrong?" She pressed her lips together and said nothing. I calmly sat back down in the chair and looked at my phone. Liu Ruyan was seriously injured. Her vitality was greatly damaged. Not long after, she fell asleep. I looked at her, my hatred unclear, but it was like a needle pricking me occasionally. My heart was in turmoil. I got up, left the room, and went to the restroom. After coming out, I saw Feng Yuan standing by the wall. I wasn't surprised. Feng Yuan spoke first. "Did you say something about me in front of Sister Liu?" When Feng Yuan faced me, he never looked me straight in the eye, as if he were perpetually a cut above me, carrying an air of contempt. This was the confidence Liu Ruyan had given him. I smiled and said, "Take a guess." Feng Yuan was about to lose his composure. "Lin Feng, you should know. I don't want to say anything too harsh to you. Sister Liu and I are childhood sweethearts. If it weren't for Mr. Liu's disapproval and calling off your engagement to Sister Liu, I'm afraid Sister Liu and I would have been married long ago." I looked straight into his furious eyes and said with a grin, "So what? Childhood sweethearts and mutual affection, so what? The one who married her is me. Your jealousy is useless. You can only watch us be affectionate, to some extent. Besides Feng Yuan himself, I'm the one who understands him best. Of course, I know exactly where to stab to make it hurt the most." As expected, his heart started beating faster, his breathing quickened, a vein on his forehead throbbed. "Lin Feng, you really have the nerve to say that. Do you think Sister Liu will spend her whole life with you? You have no self-awareness. Sister Liu despises you. Do you really not know, or are you just pretending?" "Of course I know. I realized it long ago. Liu Ruyan and I first met when we were children. At that time, I wondered how there could be such a beautiful older sister in the world. I wanted to get close to her, but her cold and distant aura kept strangers at bay. I didn't dare approach. After that, we didn't see each other again, until after the middle school entrance exams. Mr. Liu invited me to the Liu family home. That's when I also found out she was my future wife. On the cusp of first love, I fell for her then and there. I also understood that she didn't like me. She even hated me. Seeing my silence, Feng Yuan came much more relaxed. A victorious smile appeared on his face. "Sister Liu is very cruel to people she dislikes. For your own good, I advise you to divorce her. Otherwise, you're in for a world of suffering." Although he wants me to divorce Liu Ruyan, I have to admit he's not wrong about that. I suppressed the urge to nod and said scornfully, "Don't think so highly of yourself. You've been abroad for 5 years. People change. Just now in the hospital room, you should have felt her coldness towards you. Feeling panicked, aren't you?" As soon as I said that, Feng Yuan's face instantly turned pale. How could he not be panicked? Liu Ruyan had never treated him so coldly before. I saw this and said mockingly, "There's no corner that can't be pried loose. I put a lot of effort into her these past 5 years. Where do you get the confidence that she can't live without you and will always despise me?" Feng Yuan opened his mouth to retort, but was speechless. Seeing his discomfort, my goal was achieved. I turned to leave. Sister Liu has loved me for years. She will love me for a lifetime. I stopped, tilting my head and said, "Then I'd like to see how long this confidence of yours lasts. I will definitely make Sister Liu divorce you." Fang Yuan clenched his fists, his face pale. I let out a cold laugh and walked away without looking back. Arriving at the door to Liu Ruyan's room, I didn't rush inside. In my past life with Liu Ruyan's tacit approval, Fang Yuan had me committed to a mental institution. In despair, I jumped from a building. These two are the culprits who killed me. They are my enemies. Having been reborn, I naturally want revenge. But how should I get revenge? Obviously, killing them is the most direct way, but I don't want to ruin my life again because of these two people. God gave me a chance to start over, not for me to make such a life choice. Then, I could make the Liu family go bankrupt and leave Liu Ruyan with a broken family, an eye for an eye, and also commit Fang Yuan to a mental institution, not to mention whether I have the ability to do so. Even if I did, I'm afraid this entire life would be lived solely for revenge. Besides these two methods of revenge, there is another way. That is to destroy the relationship between Fang Yuan and Liu Ruyan. But as soon as I thought about this process of revenge, I felt suffocated. Facing the two people I hate to the bone every day to put on an act is truly a form of torture. After thinking it over and over, it's clear that burying the hatred in my heart, cherishing the chance God has given me, and starting a completely new life, to live a peaceful life, is more beneficial. I once again convinced myself and emotionlessly pushed open the door to the hospital room. Liu Ruyan was asleep. I went into the restroom to wash my face, then came out and lay down on the family bed, preparing to get some sleep. I didn't sleep well during the day. This time, I slept especially deeply. By the time I woke up, it was already dark outside. I picked up my phone to check. My mouth fell open in surprise. It's 5 a.m. Did you sleep well? A woman's soft, sweet voice sounded by my ear. I looked up at her. Fortunately, Liu Ruyan didn't say anything more. The room returned to silence. Are you hungry? I am hungry. The two sentences were spoken almost simultaneously. After speaking, Liu Ruyan and I fell silent again. A flash of annoyance appeared on my face. I threw off the covers and got out of bed. I'll go get you some food, but you can only eat porridge right now. Don't be picky when I bring it back. I have to make this clear first. Otherwise, if I bring back porridge, and Liu Ruyan refuses to eat it and gives me an attitude, it's really not worth it. Liu Ruyan nodded faintly. I know. I put on my shoes and walked to the door. I opened the door and stepped out and saw Zhu Ya standing close to the window. A smile appeared on my face. Assistant Zhu. Zhu Ya was stunned, then she nodded a bit awkwardly. Hello, sir. I suddenly remembered Zhu Ya hadn't had much contact with me at this point. The smile on my face gradually faded. A deep sense of regret filled my heart. Zhu Ya is Liu Ruyan's assistant. In my past life, after I married Liu Ruyan, I gradually got to know her well. Zhu Ya felt sorry for me and took great care of me. I was grateful to her. I wanted to thank her, but in this life, I'm afraid I won't have the chance to become friends with Zhu Ya again. Burying this gratitude deep in my heart, I crossed my arms and pointed into the room. She's hungry. Zhu Ya nodded. I'll go get the porridge right away, okay? After Zhu Ya left, I opened my phone and saw a message from Bai Mingji. How is Liu Ruyan now? Brother Feng, are you okay? Bai Mingji has been my good friend for many years. Since I was reborn, I've been holding back from contacting him, fearing that if I did, I wouldn't be able to control my emotions. A person on the verge of collapse, once faced with someone they can confide in, will shed the heavy armor they wear and instantly become vulnerable. For example, right now my nose started to sting. I took a deep breath. My fingers rested on the keyboard. Liu Ruyan is fine. I'm also doing great right now. You don't need to worry. I'll go to school tomorrow. We can talk then? You're going to school? Have you thought things through? I could see Bai Mingji's excitement even from the punctuation. I smiled and didn't reply again. I am a medical student at H University. In my past life, if I hadn't married Liu Ruyan and been forced to drop out by Suru, I would have eventually become a doctor. My life might not have been extraordinary, but it would certainly have been a meaningful one. I put my phone back in my pocket, leaned against the wall in a daze. When Zhu Ya returned, she saw me lost in thought. She really didn't want to disturb me, but she was afraid Liu Ruyan was hungry and waiting impatiently, so she approached anyway. Sir, I've brought the porridge. I snapped out of it and took the insulated container from her hand. I asked with a faint smile. Is it from home? Madam cooked it herself. It's been kept at the nurse's station. She instructed me to bring it up when the young lady woke. Zhu Ya spoke cautiously. She was truly treating me as Liu Ruyan's husband. In my past life at the Liu household, the person who truly respected me and treated me like a human being was only Zhu Ya. I carried the insulated container and didn't rush into the room. Instead, I looked at Zhu Ya and asked with concern, "What time did you get here?" A little after 7 p.m. yesterday. I came after handling the car accident matters. In that case, I am enough to handle things here. You should go get some sleep. Faced with my enthusiasm and concern, Zhu Ya frowned, feeling a bit unaccustomed to it, but she still said respectfully, "Thank you for your kindness, sir, but the old madam told me to stay here. I can't sleep just yet." I noticed her expression and realized my actions were making Zhu Ya feel pressured. I had no choice but to nod. All right, I'll go in first then. With that, I turned and entered the room. The soundproofing of the door wasn't very good. Liu Ruyan, who was in the room, could hear the conversation at the door just now. As I entered, Liu Ruyan looked at me with a peculiar expression. I didn't notice. I walked over and placed the thermal lunchbox on the bedside table, opened it and poured the porridge into a bowl, then sat down on the chair, preparing to feed Liu Ruyan. But when the spoon reached Liu Ruyan's mouth, she didn't open it. I looked at her doubtfully. "Are you not going to eat? Did you know Zhu Ya before?" Liu Ruyun's eyes flickered. I pursed my lips, then said, "We know each other." Liu Ruyun's sharp eyes narrowed slightly. Her expression looked like a storm was brewing. I was all too familiar with this expression of hers. I put the spoon back in the bowl and asked casually, "Is there something about her that you don't like? I really don't want to serve her anymore." Liu Ruyun's lips twitched. Then she clamped her mouth shut. She realized that if she said what she wanted to say, I would probably put down the bowl and leave immediately. The kind of leaving without looking back. Before she could clarify the matter of the past life, she didn't want me to escape her control. "Are you going to eat or not?" Seeing that Liu Ruyun remained silent, I became a little impatient. When has anyone ever spoken to Liu Ruyun with this tone? Her face turned livid, but she still took a deep breath. She was really hungry. Finishing one bowl was just enough to tide her over. Seeing that she still wanted to eat, I put the bowl down and said indifferently, "You can't eat too much right now. Liu Ruyun is not a child. Since I've said so, even if she wasn't full, she could only endure it." I packed up the thermal lunchbox, took it out of the hospital room, and gave it to Zhu Ya. After returning, I saw it was almost 6 o'clock. I walked to the front of the hospital bed and tucked Liu Ruyun in. Then I said with a straight face, "I have to go to school." Liu Ruyun raised an eyebrow. "So, let the nurse take care of you during the day. You'll come over after school?" I nodded. I promised Shuru I would take care of Liu Ruyun until she was discharged. I will definitely keep my word. I won't run off halfway. Go on. Liu Ruyun closed her eyes before going to school. I had to change my clothes before the marriage. I was happily moving all my things to the new house, so no matter how much I didn't want to return to that heartbreaking place now, I still had to steel myself and go back. I took a taxi to the front of the house. I went inside and saw Zhang Yuan and raised my eyebrows in surprise. "Mom, you've been here all this time without going home? I knew you'd come here after leaving the hospital. I want to talk to you." It was still early. I wasn't in a hurry to get to school, so I didn't hesitate to go over and sit down. Zhang Yuan asked with a grim expression. "Is it true you want to divorce Liu Ruyun?" "It's true. Are you crazy?" Zhang Yuan slammed her cup on the coffee table, her face covered with a layer of anger. "Do you have any idea? Marrying Liu Ruyun is a blessing you must have cultivated for many lifetimes to receive," I said with a bitter smile. "If I didn't love Liu Ruyun, perhaps that would be my true blessing." Zhang Yuan was stunned. "I finally understand your words now. You always told me not to love Liu Ruyun. In your eyes, as long as I didn't love Liu Ruyun, marrying her would make me happy for the rest of my life." I took Zhang Yuan's hand. "Your ultimate goal was just to want me to have food and clothing for the rest of my life and be happy and joyful forever, Mom. Am I wrong?" Zhang Yuan's expression stiffened. "You're overthinking it." As soon as she finished, her face was full of discomfort. She pulled her hand out of mine. I wasn't unhappy at all. A hint of a smile flashed in my eyes. I pretended to be serious and said, "Fine, then even if Liu Ruyun doesn't give me money later and contacts Fang Yuan every day to humiliate me, even if Fang Yuan, wanting me and Liu Ruyun to divorce, sets me up so everyone thinks I'm mentally ill and has me committed to a mental hospital, I will endure it all." They dared. Zhang Yuan's eyes widened. Her whole body was about to explode. "Although our line family has declined, a starved camel is still bigger than a horse. Besides, our Lin and Lu families have been friends for generations. How dare she treat you like that?" I let out a cold laugh. "But she loves Fang Yuan. A woman for the man she loves can sometimes disregard everything. Love, schmoove. A woman's love is the most useless thing in this world." Zhang Yuan sighed softly and asked hesitantly, "Could these things you mentioned really happen?" I nodded. "Liu Ruyun has always hated me. Now she was forced to marry me according to Grandpa Laios' last wish. It's even reached the point of loathing me." "Well, if that's the case," Zhang Yuan thought for a moment, then continued, "if you're determined to divorce Liu Ruyun, I won't stop you, but you must think carefully. Even if you marry again, you won't be able to marry someone with conditions as good as Liu Ruyun's. Marrying a woman with good conditions doesn't guarantee happiness. Besides, even if I don't get married in this life, I will make myself happy," I said with a bright smile. "What nonsense if you don't get married? Then your father and I? Never mind, forget it." Zhang Yuan was extremely proud but soft-hearted inside. This was something I only realized after being reborn. The hardships she faced in her youth made her full of thorns, unwilling to soften in the slightest, afraid that once she softened, hardship would take the opportunity to creep in again and stab her painfully once more, making her hurt so much she wouldn't want to live. When Lin Batian married her, I was only 1 year old. No matter how many nannies were hired to take care of me, none of them could replace a mother's position. It's a child's nature to look for their mother. If they can't find her, they'll cry. But I heard from the maid who had worked at our house for many years that I rarely cried as a child. At that moment, I realized something. After asking more, I found out Zhang Yuan, before I had memories, was home playing with me almost every day. Most of the time, it was Zhang Yuan who took care of me. Anyone could see Zhang Yuan's affection for me, but for some unknown reason, from a certain day, Zhang Yuan intentionally stopped being close to me. I don't know what happened that made her make such a decision. No one could know. Later, when I was 4 years old, Zhang Yuan gave birth to a child for Lin Batian, named Lin Shui. Zhang Yuan wasn't close to this child either. I once thought she was naturally cold-hearted. Then later I thought she only cared about money and power, but thinking about it now, if she only cared about money and power, then how could she? When the Lin family's investment failed and they almost went bankrupt, still not leave without even a word of complaint, although I still don't understand now why Zhang Yuan acted that way. But I know that in Zhang Yuan's heart, she has this family, and having me and Lin Shui is enough. Lin Shui is more perceptive than I am. I chuckled. My laughter was clear and bright. She said, Marrying Liu Ruyan wouldn't make me happy, Zhang Yuan was surprised. When did she say that to you? 2 days before my wedding? What does a kid like her know? Zhang Yuan sneered softly. So young, but likes to meddle in adult affairs, she really needs to be taught a lesson. I smiled faintly, seeing it was getting late. I stood up from the sofa and gently squeezed Zhang Yuan's always stiff left shoulder. Another day, I'll take you somewhere for treatment. It's quite good for frozen shoulder. I'm going upstairs to wash up and then go to school. To school? Zhang Yuan's expression changed slightly. You're not dropping out of school anymore? I smiled and shook my head. If it weren't for wanting to divorce Liu Ruyan, I wouldn't have dropped out. Zhang Yuan's expression turned cold, vaguely understanding something. What do you mean by that? I dropped out because Shuru demanded it. I recalled Shuru's threat at that time, and my expression turned sour as well. The moment Zhang Yuan heard these words, her face flushed red with anger. She pointed a finger at my nose and scolded, "You spineless fool! Why didn't you tell me about this? I thought you couldn't keep up with your studies, and that's why you dropped out. If you had told me sooner, I would have definitely gone to the Liu family to demand an explanation. What right does that Exu Ru have to make such a demand?" As she finished speaking, she grabbed the coffee cup on the table and threw it at the TV. The LaxD TV couldn't withstand the impact, and a spiderweb of cracks spread out from one point. The coffee cup also couldn't escape its fate. Auntie Chen, who had just come out of the kitchen, saw this scene and immediately froze in fear. Not daring to move, Zhang Yuan glanced at her and sneered repeatedly. "No one in the Liu family is any good. It's good that you're divorcing Liu Ruyan with your weak personality. If you continue living with her, you won't have a single day of peace." Auntie Chen was a nanny who had worked for the Liu family for many years. Shuru sent her here. Her words sounded nice, saying that she was good at taking care of people and could take good care of Liu Ruyan in my daily life. But actually, it was to have her come and supervise. The words Zhang Yuan was saying now. Auntie Chen would definitely repeat them word for word to Shuru when she got back. Zhang Yuan knew this perfectly well. She was saying it on purpose. It was my fault. I clasped my hands in front of me and lowered my head, just like when I came home after making a mistake as a child. At first, I didn't tell Zhang Yuan about this because I was afraid she would go and cause trouble with Shuru. At that time, Shuru would look down on me even more. In my previous life, I didn't understand. Having your mother's family support versus not having it makes life with your in-laws completely different. Zhang Yuan had a sharp tongue. Plus, she grew up in a complex and rough area, dealing with someone like Shuru, who from a young age grew up with strict rules, was truly too easy. If I had her support in my previous life, my life at the Liu family's house wouldn't have been so miserable. I remember you used to be quite a troublemaker, not the type to be easily bullied. Why have you become so timid now? Zhang Yuan looked at my pitiful appearance. Her tone gradually softened. I told you before, not to love Liu Ruyan, to ensure you live comfortably your whole life. At that time, you were unhappy with me, as if I said it to harm you. You think love is useless, so you don't love Dad. I looked up at her. Xiaofeng, you are still young? Zhang Yuan sighed softly. For two people to live together, whether they can stay together forever, doesn't just depend on love. In fact, you could say it doesn't depend on love at all. Wait until you truly marry someone and live with them. You will understand. Before I was reborn, although I had gone through many hardships and suffered a lot of pain in love, but because Liu Ruyan and I never truly lived together properly, I still didn't understand the thing called marriage. I understand your difficulties now, Mom. My bright eyes twinkled, looking very mischievous. I will definitely listen to you more in the future. Faced with my sudden intimacy, Zhang Yuan felt uncomfortable. She pouted. Her words belied her true feelings. Come on, I'm not your biological mother anyway. You can listen to my words if you want, or not if you don't. The smile in my eyes deepened. You're not my biological mother, but you still care about me so much. Who cares about you? Zhang Yuan impatiently waved her hand. Hurry up and go. Do your own thing. I smiled, my eyes sparkling slightly. All right, I'll go upstairs then, because it was getting late. I went upstairs and took a quick shower, got dressed, grabbed the school withdrawal form, and went out. The family only has one driver, and he was injured in the accident with Liu Ruyan, so I had to walk out of the villa complex to the main road to catch a taxi. It's really not easy to get a cab here. I waited a long time before finally getting one. Getting in the car, I gave my destination, then took out my phone to text Bai Mingjie, arranging to meet at the school gate. Young man, are you a student at H University? The driver looked at me in the rearview mirror and asked with a bright smile. I nodded. I'm a sophomore this year. What's your major? Medicine. Medicine is good. You'll be a doctor saving lives in the future. What a great profession. The driver was very talkative and pleasant to talk to. I put my phone down and felt like chatting with him for a bit. This conversation turned out to be fruitful. The driver said that last night around midnight, he drove a very handsome man here. At first, he thought the man lived here, but he ended up driving him to the gate of a villa. The man said he had to go back to the city and asked the driver to wait at the gate for a moment. Then he got out of the car and rang the doorbell. Not long after, a very charismatic man came out from inside, and upon seeing the other man, he started cursing loudly, calling him a shameless schemer who specializes in liking other people's wives. Then the other man said something. The voice was too low. The driver couldn't hear clearly, but it looked like he was refuting. But before he could get a few words out, the man from inside turned around and left. After hearing this, I had a guess in my heart. So I asked the driver what that man looked like and what color clothes he was wearing. The driver described him from memory. I confirmed that this man was Fang Yuan. He left the hospital and came here in the middle of the night. For what? I couldn't figure it out, but I could be sure that Fang Yuan definitely came here with ulterior motives. This man is full of bad intentions. I learned that lesson deeply in my previous life. I looked out the car window. A mocking glint flashed in my eyes, although I can't do anything to Liu Ruyan. But I can do my best to make Fang Yuan suffer a little. That's still possible. The taxi arrived at the gate of H University. I paid the fare and got out and saw Bai Mingjie squatting at the school gate at a glance. He was wearing a tracksuit. His hair was a bit messy, looking like he had just finished exercising. Upon seeing me, he immediately stood up and ran over like a madman. Brother Feng, I stood still, with my arms crossed in front of my chest, in a defensive posture, but I still couldn't avoid being engulfed in a hug by Bai Mingjie. Brother Feng, we haven't seen each other in 15 days. Do you know how much I missed you? I thought you wouldn't need me anymore after getting married. My face was covered by his hair. I struggled to raise my hand to push the hair off my face and said with difficulty, Mingji, you're about to squeeze me to death. I don't care. He rubbed his face against me with a pitiful expression. This is your punishment for not seeing me for half a month and not letting me attend your wedding. My hand, which was about to push him away, froze in mid-air. To marry Liu Ruyan, Shuru had made many demands. Forcing me to drop out was just one of them. Another was that I had to give up my current social circle. In Surao's eyes, all my friends were good-for-nothings, unworthy of the status of Liu Ruyan's husband. At that time, I was so besotted with Liu Ruyan that I actually agreed. I was so heartless as to actually abandon my friends, including Bai Mingjie. My friend of many years, I still remember Bai Mingjie's disappointed look whenever he saw me in my previous life. So to say I was lonely and helpless back then and suffered all kinds of hardships was something I brought upon myself. The wedding wasn't worth attending anyway. I was filled with guilt. Even though I was about to be suffocated by Bai Mingjie, I didn't push him away anymore. Anyway, I'm about to divorce Liu Ruyan. Bai Mingjie let go of me, his face full of astonishment. I blinked. You didn't mishear? Once Liu Ruyan recovers and is discharged from the hospital, I will immediately divorce her. You, aren't you? Bai Mingjie frowned, scratching his head. Isn't marrying Liu Ruyan what you've always dreamed of? I shrugged. It was before, but after marrying her, I found out she's just so-so. She's no good. I had a mischievous idea, pursed my lips, and pretended to have a troubled expression without saying anything. Then you really have to divorce, Bai Mingjie said with a regretful look. I can't believe Liu Ruyan is. Sigh, as expected, God is fair. I nodded in agreement. That's right. Just relying on Bai Mingjie's big mouth. I'm afraid the matter of Liu Ruyan not being good will spread everywhere in less than a day. This can be considered a small revenge against Liu Ruyan. I happily put my arm around his shoulder. Let's go. Come with me to the homeroom teacher's office to return the withdrawal form. The next task is to study hard and finish university and live a normal and quiet life for the remaining 3 years. Brother Feng, why did you drop out in the first place? It was Shu Rao's demand. Otherwise, I couldn't have married Liu Ruyan, I said sarcastically, looked up at my cold expression and said perceptively, I knew it was that old hag. Otherwise, why would you drop out for no reason? I really wonder. For a guy with great qualities like you, what is she still not satisfied with? Me? With great qualities? I pointed to a boy drawing a wall newspaper not far away, the young master of the Ye family, Yehui. This is the one with good qualities in Xu Rao's eyes, so a good family background is what's called good qualities. Huh? How superficial. I let out a faint laugh and said no more. Isn't that the case? No matter how outstanding you are personally, if your family background isn't good in front of the Liu family, you are an extremely inferior existence. In that case, in the previous life, even if Fang Yuan successfully married into the Liu family, even with Liu Ruyan's favor, with his background and status, life wouldn't necessarily have been easy. The feeling of being looked down upon and despised by others every day is quite hard to bear. Thinking like this, I felt much more refreshed inside. Arriving at the homeroom teacher's office, I was just about to raise my hand to knock when the office door opened from the inside. The man inside saw me. His expression changed suddenly. Why are you here? Did you already drop out? I couldn't help but laugh. The man standing in front of me was none other than Fang Yuan's younger brother, Fang Zheng. Speaking of this Fang Zheng, he really is Fang Yuan's good younger brother, coveting his own brother's woman and would trip up his own brother. How touching. Just because I dropped out doesn't mean I can come back, right? Bai Mingjie bared his teeth at Fang Zheng. Now that Lin Feng is back, you can't be in the spotlight anymore. Do you feel very upset? Fang Zheng looked at him with gloomy eyes. I'm not talking to a loudmouth like you. Stop following me and talking. Aren't you demeaning yourself? I don't know if I'm demeaning myself or not. Anyway, you're not even a fraction of my Xiaofeng. Getting mad and playing tricks behind people's backs is what's truly demeaning. When did I play tricks behind your back? Bai Mingjie sneered. You know it yourself. Last month's anatomy class, my Xiaofeng's rabbit was harmed by someone. It was definitely you. A flicker of panic flashed in Fang Zheng's eyes. Don't stand here slandering people. I would never do something like that. You need evidence when you make accusations. It was you, wasn't it? I interrupted their argument and spoke with a smile. I don't want to listen to a meaningless argument here. Fang Zheng, you're blocking my way. Could you please move? Fang Zheng glared at me, with no intention of moving aside. I know Fang Zheng all too well. Ever since I entered H University, just because I was Liu Ruyan's fiancé. Fang Zheng was determined to pick a fight with me. If a day went by without him coming to cause trouble, he would feel uneasy. Like right now, for example, Fang Zheng definitely wants to provoke me with his words, the type who just can't resist provoking someone. Sure enough, it wasn't long before Fang Zheng began. Lin Feng, you should drop out of school and just stay home every day to please Sister Lu. Maybe then you'd have a chance to win her heart, but you gave up on dropping out. And now my brother is back from abroad. I'm afraid you can soon. Prepare to divorce Sister Liu. Fang Zheng knew how to strike a nerve. If this were my past life, I probably would have been upset. But now, not at all. Therefore, not only did Fang Zheng not see an ugly expression on my face, but he saw me bare my pearly white teeth and smile coldly. Does saying that make you feel better? 10. What? My unexpected reaction made Fang Zheng's brain freeze. You're secretly in love with Liu Ruyan. When you said that I stay home every day solely to please Liu Ruyan, didn't your heart bleed? I reached out and pinched Fang Zheng's chin, shaking it back and forth. I clicked my tongue and continued. Your looks aren't that much worse than your brother's. Don't you feel the least bit unwilling to accept this? Your brother can make Liu Ruyan divorce me. Why can't you? Fang Zheng's expression changed drastically. He slapped my hand away and roared furiously. Lin Fang, stop talking nonsense. I'm not secretly in love with Sister Liu. Look at you. You like a woman but don't even dare to admit it. It seems that for the rest of your life, you can only watch your brother and the woman you love be all lovey-dovey. My words weren't just terrible. I was completely disrespecting Fang Zheng, stabbing a knife right into his weakest spot. I wanted to make Fang Zheng wish he were dead, to make his delusional obsession emerge earlier than in the last life. Before I divorce Liu Ruyan, I must personally cause as much trouble for Fang Yuan as possible. Shut up, Fang Zheng's eyes were bloodshot. His breathing became heavy. It's just nonsense. I shrugged. My expression was like, whether it's nonsense or not, you know it yourself. Fang Zheng seemed on the verge of a breakdown. He gave me a hateful glance and quickly left. Xiaofeng, does Feng Zheng like Liu Ruyan? Bai Mingji grabbed my arm tightly. His entire face screamed curiosity. I know he loves to gossip, but now was clearly not the time to share gossip with him. I gestured for him to calm down and be patient. Then I went into the head teacher's office. When I was dropping out, the head teacher never agreed. Finally, when he saw I was truly determined, he had to agree. Now that he saw I regretted it, he was naturally very happy. After all, losing such an excellent medical student was a great pity. After the head teacher gave me a few words of advice, he let me and Bai Mingjie leave. Once we were a little distance from the office, Bai Mingjie looked up at me with sparkling eyes. Xiaofeng, quick, hurry up. I can't take it anymore. Tell me. Don't you already know? Fang Zheng is secretly in love with Liu Ruyan. I smirked. My smile was full of ridicule. He's liked Liu Ruyan since he was a child. But unfortunately, Liu Ruyan only has eyes for Fang Yuan. Until I said those words just now. He still thought that as long as his brother was worthy of Liu Ruyan, all he needed to do was silently protect them from the sidelines. How do you know so clearly? Bai Mingjie was astonished. I smiled without saying anything. Bai Mingjie didn't ask any further. After digesting this piece of gossip, his not-so-sharp mind asked, why do you know that before you said those words? Fang Zheng thought that way? So what about after? He won't be content. He'll start thinking about competing with Fang Yuan. I'm stirring up the desire buried deep in his heart. I took the locker key from my pocket. I slipped my finger through the key ring and twirled it with a gleeful expression. Bai Mingjie understood. He had a sly grin. Xiaofeng, you're still as wicked as ever. I raised an eyebrow at him. Just now I saw the Lin Feng from high school. Bai Mingjie nudged my shoulder and chuckled. You were so arrogant back then, spirited and proud. It's a shame you pretended to be a good boy in university. It wasn't fun at all. The smile on my face faded. Lin Botian's mother, meaning my paternal grandmother, was from the north. Lin Botian often followed his mother to the north. Every time, he would stay for a few months. So Lin Botian has a very liberal personality. Plus, he's not very smart. For all these years, he has lived a very happy and carefree life. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made a failed investment, causing the Lin family's years of effort to go down the drain. My personality is somewhat like his. Furthermore, Lin Botian and Zhang Yuan had very low expectations for me. This led to me letting myself go after entering high school. To put it seriously, at that time I was a student with good grades, but in the teacher's eyes, I was a problem student. As for the reason why after entering university, I forced myself to become a good boy. Of course, it was also because of Liu Ruyan and Shu Ru. I snapped out of my memories and muttered in a calm tone, if it weren't for her, my previous life would have been so brilliant. Xiaofeng, what did you say? Bai Mingjie didn't hear clearly. He asked curiously. I shook my head. From now on, I will live as myself. I took Bai Mingjie's hand. The two of us walked lightly to the classroom. I'm smart. I've learned everything quickly since I was a child. Back then, my university entrance exam score was very high when choosing my major. Zhang Yuan and Lin Botian's opinion was to let me do as I pleased. Among the many majors I could choose, I chose to study medicine without hesitation. Studying medicine is very hard. Lin Botian once expressed his disapproval. I just said I liked it and insisted on my choice, without telling them the real reason. The real reason was my biological mother's death. It wasn't to be able to save more people, or to prevent more families from being broken. It was to accumulate blessings for my mother. Her life was too short. I hope in her next life, she can live a peaceful and smooth life. The morning classes ended. There were no classes in the afternoon. Bai Mingjie hadn't hung out with me in a long time. He asked me to go shopping with him. I had to go to the hospital to take care of Liu Ruyan after telling him the truth. We agreed to hang out another day, then I left school and went to the hospital. Arriving at the hospital, I went upstairs and ran into Shuru, who was just coming out of the hospital room. When Shuru saw me, she was stunned for a moment. Then she spoke with a complicated expression. "You've got some skills." I was confused. "What?" "Before you married Ruyan, she quite disliked you. I didn't expect that in just one night. She doesn't dislike you anymore. Isn't it right to say you have skills?" Shuru's words were full of hidden meaning. I frowned and said nothing. Previously, in front of Shuru, I always acted very obedient. No matter how much she made things difficult for me, or said harsh words, I would always nod and bow. Although my attitude has become much stronger after being reborn, Shuru still wasn't used to it. Seeing me say nothing, she thought I didn't dare to talk back. She pushed her luck and said, "As expected, a son raised by a vixen is also a little bastard." Since Shuru was pushing her luck, I didn't intend to indulge her anymore. "Shuru, if you're sick, go see a doctor." I didn't even call her mother anymore. My expression was as cold as ice. "You are a member of the Liu family after all, but you talk like a street ruffian. Aren't you afraid of lowering the Liu family's status?" These words were indeed very harsh. Shuru didn't expect me to show her no respect at all, and say such harsh things to her. For a moment, she was stunned. By the time she reacted, her whole face was red with anger. "Lin Feng, is that how you talk to me? You and Ruyan are about to get divorced. You don't have to call me mother. But you shouldn't call me by my name. I am your elder. I think you're the one with no upbringing. You're a disgrace to the Lin family's ancestors." Shuru relied on her powerful family background and married into the Liu family. Although her personality was arrogant and domineering, she was like a porcupine, pricking everyone she met, but very few people dared to confront her directly, so the harsh words she could say in an argument only went this far. I heard her even bring my ancestors into it. I really couldn't help but laugh. "Fine, calling you by your name was indeed my mistake. Then can I call you Auntie Sue?" "Auntie Sue, you're really broad-minded. Your daughter is lying in there. It's still unknown if her head will have any after effects. You're not worried about her. Instead, you're wasting time here saying things to provoke me. If you're really that free, you might as well go play a couple of rounds of mahjong." "Lin Feng, you are too insolent." I rolled my eyes. I couldn't be bothered with her anymore. I leaned over and opened the hospital room door, and shouted inside, "Liu Ruyan, your mother is being too unreasonable. I don't want to argue with your mother. Let the nurse take care of you. You could kill Shuru, and she still wouldn't have expected me to do this." She was about to go mad with anger. She raised her hand and pushed my shoulder hard. "You're even tattling to my daughter. Who do you think you are? Ruyan, look at this thing. He doesn't respect me, his elder, at all. He called me a street ruffian, lowering the Liu family's status. I can't wait another day. I'll call the people from the Civil Affairs Bureau here right now. The two of you will divorce immediately." "Excellent." I clapped my hands and cheered. "I thank you. It's great to have such a powerful mother-in-law. I don't even have to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau myself for a divorce. How convenient. Hurry up. One is a lovesick fool. The other is menopausal. I can't stand this mother-daughter duo for another day." In the hospital bed, veins popped on Liu Ruyan's forehead. Her entire body exuded a fierce aura. Countless men wanted to marry her. Any man who could marry her would wake up laughing from their dreams. But the thing that countless people couldn't reach was being disdained by me like this. This was a huge blow to her self-esteem. How could she not be furious inside? "It's best if you obediently get a divorce." Shuru pointed at my nose. Her eyes were filled with anger. She said with a forced smile, "Wait until I call the people from the Civil Affairs Bureau, if you regret it, and refuse to let go. I won't just make you. It'll make sure your entire line family comes to a bad end." I also forced a smile. "Whoever regrets it is a dog." "Fine." As soon as the words left her mouth, Shuru opened her handbag, intending to take out her phone to make a call. "I've said that only Grandpa can decide on my marriage." Liu Ruyan looked towards the hospital room door. Her gaze was gloomy. "Whether I divorce him or not is my decision to make. Mother, don't do unnecessary things. Ruyan, if you don't take this opportunity to divorce him quickly, when are you going to wait until—" Shuru didn't understand. Her eyes were bloodshot with anger. A flash of impatience appeared on Liu Ruyan's face. "I told you not to meddle, but I insist on meddling. I don't want this kind of worthless son-in-law. Besides, haven't you always liked that Feng Yuan? He's back in the country now. Aren't you looking forward to divorcing Lin Feng quickly so you can marry him? You divorce Lin Feng today, and tomorrow you can go register your marriage with Feng Yuan." Liu Ruyan said expressionlessly. "No." Shuru blurted out almost instinctively. Her daughter must marry a man with a powerful family background, and who is excellent himself. What are this Lin Feng and Feng Yuan? They can't help Ruyan's career at all. That's one thing. They might even drag her down. Liu Ruyan let out a cold laugh. So her mother had always thought this way. No wonder she did that back then. "Anyway, I won't let you marry Feng Yuan. So why are you in a hurry to divorce Lin Feng?" Liu Ruyan turned her head and faced the ceiling. "Let Lin Feng come in. Ruyan, listen to me. Don't waste your breath." Liu Ruyan cut Shuru off. Her tone was unbelievably cold. Shuru gave me an unwilling glance, then turned and left. I stared at her angry back with a thoughtful expression. In my previous life, I only had eyes and heart for Liu Ruyan. I never noticed this point. A woman with a personality like Shuru's had never been firm with her daughter. She practically did whatever her daughter said. Could it be because she loves her daughter too much? But she is Liu Ruyan's mother after all, if she were to make a scene. Liu Ruyan should eventually have to compromise reluctantly. How strange. My inner thoughts were heard clearly by Liu Ruyan. In her heart and eyes, there were only my inner thoughts. This made Liu Ruyan's mood extremely complicated. She coughed lightly, intending to attract my attention. I came back to my senses. I tilted my head to look at her. "Come in." I walked in and stopped in front of the hospital bed. I sat down on the chair. Why not take this opportunity to divorce me? Not only did Shuru not understand, I didn't understand either. There's no why. You and Fang Yuan are deeply in love. You want to marry him. Your mother's opposition is useless, so I don't understand. In my previous life, if I hadn't clung on shamelessly, I'm afraid on the day Fang Yuan returned, Liu Ruyan would have dragged me to the Civil Affairs Bureau for a divorce. How could our grievances have dragged on for 3 years? We divorced right after getting married. It will affect the reputation of the Liu group. We can't get divorced in the short term. Before I was reborn, this woman dreamed of divorcing me, but couldn't get a divorce. After being reborn, the one who dreams of divorcing but can't has become me. Life is truly full of drama. I can't drag this on any longer. We must get divorced after Liu Ruyan is discharged from the hospital. So it really is rebirth. Such a fantastical thing really exists in this world. You've probably forgotten. At our wedding, there were only our family members. Not even the media knew we were married, because you deliberately concealed our marriage. Outsiders still think you're single. So our divorce will not affect the reputation of the Liu group. There's no wall in this world that doesn't have a crack. So I want some time. How long until we can get divorced? At least half a year? Half a year is not acceptable. I can't wait that long. How long do you want? We divorce after you get out of the hospital. 1 year, why are you raising the price? Let me tell you the truth. I already have someone I like. That's why I'm in a hurry to divorce you, so I can be with that person. I don't believe you. Do I need to lie to you? If you can accept me, during our marriage, seeing another woman, and cheating on you, then I'll listen to you. Well, divorce in half a year. I can. What the hell can you? The ungrateful wretch now believes in Buddha and has started eating vegetarian, saving all living beings, are you? Fine, you can accept this too. I have nothing more to say. If you say half a year, then half a year it is. But I have to tell you a few things first. I will move back home. During this time, we will live our own lives. Don't meet unless it's necessary. No problem. It's time for lunch. 10 minutes later, I walked in carrying a thermal lunchbox. I sat down on the chair expressionlessly and opened the thermal lunchbox. I brought a spoonful of porridge to Liu Ruyan's mouth. I don't know if it was intentional. My hand trembled. A lot of the porridge on the spoon spilled onto Liu Ruyan's neck. The 2 words Lin Feng seemed to come directly from the depths of her heart, suppressing immense anger. I stood up in a panic. I pulled from the tissue box on the bedside table a few tissues to wipe her neck. I apologized while wiping. Sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. Don't be angry, bitch. I'll let you mess with me, now that you can't move. Can't I torture you however I want? Liu Ruyan heard my inner thoughts, felt the sticky liquid, and the tissue gradually approaching her face. Her face became as black as the bottom of a pot. It's not on my face. Oh, it's not? Sorry, I thought it was. Lin Feng, do you think you've lived too long? I know Miss Liu is powerful and influential. Anyone who offends you doesn't have a good end. But you can't just because I didn't carefully spill porridge on you. Decide to deal with me. Liu Ruyan sneered. I can. Then wait until you can move. For now, just endure it. I also sneered. Liu Ruyan glared at me. The depths of her eyes were blood red. Wipe my whole body clean and change into clean clothes. I can't do that. A hot-blooded young man like me isn't very suitable. Let me get someone else to do it for you. Liu Ruyan was truly provoked. The person who was always expressionless rarely showed anger on her face. No, you do it. Today you won't. For me. Bam! Before Liu Ruyan could finish speaking, I had quickly stepped out of the hospital room. Liu Ruyan squeezed her eyes shut. She felt every blood vessel in her body, contracting violently with anger, as if they could burst at any moment. Previously, in front of her, just like in front of Shuru, I always acted very obedient. I looked completely non-aggressive. But now it seems he must have been pretending on purpose. This is not an easy person to deal with. It's unknown how much time passed, just as Liu Ruyan was enduring the discomfort all over her body. When the stickiness was about to reach its limit, the door to the hospital room opened. Hurry up, Liu Ruyan's impatient voice urged. Miss, don't be in such a hurry. I'll go get a wet towel first. A hoarse voice came from the door of the hospital room, which stunned Liu Ruyan. She stiffly turned her neck to look. A woman who looked over 50 years old was walking towards the bathroom. I don't know where I found her. A woman with messy hair, wearing an old-fashioned worker's uniform that was covered in stains. Having a woman like that wipe her body, she would rather be stabbed. Get out, miss. Mr. Lin told me about your situation. I really sympathize. Don't worry, I won't laugh at you. Do you know who I am? Who are you? Liu Ruyan. Who? Lin Feng, you bastard. Liu Ruyan took a deep breath and then closed her eyes. Seeing this, the woman walked over. The process of being wiped down was extremely torturous for Liu Ruyan. She gritted her teeth and endured it. After the woman put a clean hospital gown on her and left, she opened her eyes and looked towards the door. I stood leaning against the door frame with my arms crossed. The moment our eyes met, I pretended to yawn. The person I found wasn't bad, right? Not bad. After I'm discharged from the hospital, they'll have to trouble you to take thoughtful care of me. Surprisingly, Liu Ruyan wasn't angry at all, but on the contrary was very calm. It was just that when she said the word thoughtful, it seemed to be ground out from between her teeth. Otherwise, I would have thought she wasn't angry at all. I narrowed my eyes, with a somewhat guarded expression. This bitch has a wicked heart. I don't know what she's thinking in her heart. She's waiting until she can move to take revenge on me, but I've already offended her, so there's no escaping revenge. So while she's sick, I might as well take her life. Liu Ruyan suddenly felt that her current situation was like walking into a tiger's den. She tried to move her arm. The pain was heart-wrenching, making her gasp. Don't expect to be able to move? Realizing this clearly, Liu Ruyan licked her slightly dry lips and suddenly asked, Lin Feng, do you still love me? I scoffed. What do you mean still love you? I never loved you, all right? The answer came without any hesitation. Moreover, whether in expression or tone, there was no trace of insincerity. Even without hearing my inner thoughts, Liu Ruyan could tell clearly that I now had no feelings for her whatsoever. This realization made Liu Ruyan's eyes darken. It wasn't that she felt upset in her heart, but just a sense of regret, that while she was completely unaware, an incredibly sincere love for her had quietly vanished. After a long silence, Liu Ruyan asked in a hoarse voice, if Fang Yuan and I got married, would we be happy? Probably. I don't think so. I wouldn't know about that. Do you need anything else? Liu Ruyan shook her head. Then you should get some sleep. I'm going to take a nap too. I walked over to the family member's bed, took off my shoes and lay down and closed my eyes. I could feel Liu Ruyan staring at me and felt a little annoyed. Why is she staring at me like that? Is she sick in the head? As soon as I had that thought, Liu Ruyan turned her face away. My furrowed brows gradually relaxed, and I quickly fell asleep. Liu Ruyan heard my breathing become steady and knew I was asleep. She looked over again. The young man was wearing a pair of long pants. Because he was lying down, the pant leg was pulled up a few centimeters, revealing his calf. At this moment, in Liu Ruyan's eyes, my calves were firm and strong, with graceful, beautiful lines, very pleasing to the eye. Before, she never had eyes for me. Now that she did, she realized I was very handsome, a face with clear, sharp angles, an extraordinary aura, skin as white as snow, lips as red as peach blossoms, both rugged and handsome like a statue, captivating to look at. In terms of looks, I was no less than Fang Yuan. Perhaps her gaze was a bit too intense. I felt uncomfortable in my sleep and frowned, letting out a couple of grunts, then turned over. Liu Ruyan let out a faint laugh and also closed her eyes. I slept straight until 4 in the afternoon. When I woke up, I saw the hospital room door was open and was a little curious. I turned over to look at Liu Ruyan lying on the hospital bed next to me. She seemed to still be asleep, not yet awake. I got out of bed, put on my shoes and walked out of the room and saw Ju Ya standing nearby. A smile appeared on my face. When did you get here? I just arrived not long ago. Ju Ya had a quiet personality. She didn't like to smile, but faced with my smile, she could only manage a stiff twitch of her lips. The nurse said, the door needs to be opened periodically for ventilation, so I opened it. So that's why I knew I couldn't act too familiar with Ju. Yeah, after speaking, I was about to head back into the room. Young master, when I arrived, I saw Mr. Fang. He was on the phone downstairs. I don't know if he'll be coming up later. Zhu Ya didn't really need to say this, nor should she have, but perhaps because she sensed my friendliness towards her, she said it anyway. I paused for a moment, then smiled. It's fine. Let him come up if he wants to. The legs are on his body. No one can control where he goes, but Miss Lu will. Zhu, you didn't dare to be too explicit. She could only say that much. You'll feel uncomfortable then. I smiled and shook my head. No, I'm used to it. Zhu Ya didn't know how to respond to that, so she chose to remain silent. Just as I was about to say something else, a voice that was somewhat cold and tinged with anger came from the room. Lin Feng, I'm thirsty. I instinctively rolled my eyes, then nodded with a smile at Zhu Ya, and turned back into the room. The woman on the hospital bed looked at me with hostility. I thought she was just grumpy from waking up, and was annoyed by everyone she saw, so I didn't think much of it. I poured a glass of water and brought it over. Are you very close with Zhu Ya? A glint appeared in Liu Ruyan's eyes. She had asked a similar question once before. A look of disgust appeared on my face. I put the glass down and said coldly, not close. But you two don't look like you're not close, Liu Ruyan sneered. Is there something wrong with her? Why is she suddenly concerned about whether I and Zhu Ya know each other? Are we very close? Does she have that much free time? All right, this woman really does have a lot of free time now, but this is so annoying. Hearing my inner thoughts, Liu Ruyan's already unpleasant expression turned even uglier. He's never said a single good thing about her in his heart. Hearing it so much, it's hard not to feel annoyed. You think we look very close? That's because I'm deliberately acting friendly, I smiled. Why would a man act friendly towards a woman? What other reason could there be? The corners of my mouth curled up even more, carrying a hint of malice. Of course it's because I have my eyes on her. Aren't you able to accept me cheating on you? A woman with a twisted mentality like you isn't easy to find. I have to take this opportunity to cheat on you a few more times. If we're going to play a thrilling game, then we must certainly seek the ultimate thrill. I'm going to disgust you to death. The moment my words fell, Liu Ruyan's face turned completely cold. Although she knew I was deliberately using words to disgust her and wasn't serious, she was still provoked. Her gaze towards me was deep and cold. I looked into it, and it was bottomless. I was a little startled in my heart. A cold chill crept into my heart. Liu Ruyan is the leader of a corporation. She naturally has the aura of a superior. When she's angry, even with no expression, and without saying a word, it's enough to make people afraid. Before my rebirth, I had witnessed how she dealt with those who offended her, and I was also afraid of her. If it weren't for anger and hatred, and relying on the fact that she can't move now, I wouldn't dare to offend her like this. Your guts have grown a lot, Liu Ruyan smirked with a sinister laugh. Keep it up. I pressed my lips together tightly. Should I stop taking revenge on her? Otherwise, when she recovers and is discharged, I won't even know how I died. Liu Ruyan quietly listened to my inner thoughts. The smile on her face became mocking. Revenge on her? This man really dares to think. You must be thirsty, right? Have some water. I picked up the glass, trying to temporarily appease Liu Ruyan's anger, so she wouldn't rack her brains thinking about how to deal with me later. Liu Ruyan gave a faint smile. Hit me and then give me a sweet. There's no such thing. You're overthinking it. I don't admit defeat. Liu Ruyan let out a cold laugh. Just as she was about to scare me a little, the sound of leather shoes came from outside. I guessed that Fang Yuan had arrived, so I brought the glass of water to Liu Ruyan's lips. My love, let me help you drink. My sudden change in behavior made Liu Ruyan pause for a moment. Then she saw Fang Yuan walking into the room, and immediately understood why. Of course she wouldn't cooperate with me, unless she believed in Buddha. Stay away from me, Liu Ruyan said with a cold face, a predictable response. I wiped the smile off my face, stood up straight, shrugged my shoulders, and said with a sigh, Still hate me this much? Let me. Fang Yuan walked over and took the glass from my hand, looking at Liu Ruyan with a gentle smile. Liu Ruyan's last words made him feel a little relieved. Yesterday I was just putting on a false front. From the very beginning, Liu Ruyan only had eyes for him. She never even glanced at another man. How could she just change like that? Besides, it's just a 20-year-old kid like me, not at all the type Liu Ruyan likes. His worries were completely unnecessary, but even so, he had to make Liu Ruyan and me divorce as soon as possible. He has waited too long, can't wait any longer. It's time to marry Liu Ruyan. As long as he acts nice to Liu Ruyan, what he wants will soon be his. What Fang Yuan was thinking in his heart, Liu Ruyan knew very well. She looked at the man in front of her, the man she had loved for many years, her eyes filled with bone-deep disappointment and disgust. It turned out the Fang Yuan in her eyes was the Fang Yuan that Fang Yuan wanted her to see, so fake it was terrifying. Liu Ruyan hated being deceived the most, let alone that this matter with Fang Yuan wasn't just simple deception. This man clearly dreamed of marrying her, yet he always pretended not to have romantic feelings for her. Playing hard to get, he was truly playing her for a fool. Fang Yuan saw that Liu Ruyan wasn't drinking or speaking, just staring at him with a cold gaze, and he started to panic again. Sister Ruyan, what's wrong? Liu Ruyan lowered her eyes, her long eyelashes trembling slightly. I don't want to drink anymore. Then what do you want to drink? I'll go buy it for you, okay? Fang Yuan blinked his big eyes, asking in a tone used to coax a child. Bro, can you use some common sense? Can she drink anything other than water right now? I was sprawled on the sofa, letting out a lazy yawn. Looks like you're still not charming enough, otherwise, you went abroad for 5 difficult years and just came back. If you were to drink sulfuric acid for her, she would do so willingly. I might as well have written 5 words. I want to sow discord on my face. Anger rose in Fang Yuan's heart, but because he was in front of Liu Ruyan, he still held it in. Lin Feng, I know you don't like me, actually. I can understand. But now that you're married to Sister Ruyan, I hope you two can live happily together. You really don't need to be hostile towards me. In what way do you see me being hostile towards you? I find his words ridiculous. Are you even worthy? Fang Yuan's expression changed instantly. No one had ever dared to speak to him like that in front of Liu Ruyan. What gave Lin Feng the right to be so bold? It was hard for Fang Yuan to accept this, all because Liu Ruyan had spoiled him, giving him a strong sense of superiority. To put it bluntly, he was a dog relying on its master's power, thinking he was something special. I didn't care what Fang Yuan's reaction was. What I cared about was Liu Ruyan's reaction. If Liu Ruyan flew into a rage because of what I said and threatened not to let me off, then I would back down and not confront her head-on. But if she only scolded me a little, then I would press my advantage. I would definitely make Fang Yuan so upset he wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Liu Ruyan stared at me, her eyes flashing, fully understanding the petty calculations in my heart. She scoffed lightly. Mr. Lin, you speak with such a big tone. I wonder who gave you that confidence. So I can't speak, if I don't have confidence. The mouth is on my face, I'll say what I want to say. What does that have to do with having confidence or not? My attitude was extremely arrogant, making people grind their teeth just looking at me. That's right, you can say what you want. That's your freedom. Fang Yuan's eyes were slightly red. He glanced at me then lowered his head. I snorted coldly and said with a contemptuous look, Thank you, Mr. Fang, for being so understanding. In the future when I see you, if I say even harsher words, I hope you can let it go. Liu Ruyan now saw Fang Yuan's true colors clearly, so of course she wouldn't speak up for him anymore. She narrowed her eyes, planning to ignore it, and focus on listening to the two men's inner thoughts. Seeing that she still hadn't scolded me, Fang Yuan looked up at her. Liu Ruyan still didn't move. Fang Yuan bit his lip and reached out to grab Liu Ruyan's arm, his face pale as he said, Forget it, Sister Ruyan. Lin Feng is young and doesn't know any better. He doesn't like me, so it's normal for him to say a few harsh words. Can he just shut up? An intense feeling of disgust spread from the bottom of her heart. In Liu Ruyan's deep, dark eyes was filled with an unmeltable frost. In Fang Yuan's memory, Liu Ruyan's gaze towards him had always been gentle. There was no way she would look at him with such a cold gaze. He stared in disbelief, his face frighteningly pale. His eyes showed resentment and pain. Sister Ruyan, why are you looking at me like that? I'm in a bad mood. Liu Ruyan averted her gaze from his face. Both of you. Be quiet, Sister Ruyan. Fang Yuan bit his lower lip hard. Are you still angry with me? Angry that I went abroad for 5 years straight and didn't even come back to visit you? You're overthinking it. Ruyan was so happy after you left. Otherwise, she wouldn't have married me and been so passionate on our wedding night, I interjected. I'm such a bastard. I just have to butt in when Fang Yuan is about to pull Liu Ruyan into a heart-to-heart, and with words that could drive Fang Yuan insane no less. You still want to have a heart-to-heart? If I let you have that heart-to-heart today, you'll take your last name. Liu Ruyan was amused. The moment she was amused, Fang Yuan's heart turned half cold. If he continued to console himself, he would just be deceiving himself. Liu Ruyan probably didn't like him anymore. Otherwise, she absolutely wouldn't tolerate me. Showing off in front of him, the moment he thought about no longer having a chance to marry into the Liu family, Fang Yuan's heart grew restless, his hands clenched into fists. Unwilling to accept it, he looked at Liu Ruyan with a pained expression. Sister Ruyan, is what he said true? I don't believe it. He must be lying, right? Seeing him so upset, I couldn't feel more gleeful. There was a fruit platter on the coffee table. The platter was filled with grapes that had already been picked. I reached out and grabbed a handful and tossed them into my mouth one by one, looking very smug. Although I don't know why this woman, Liu Ruyan, has such a cold attitude towards Fang Yuan. This couldn't be better for me. When this woman gets out of the hospital, it'll definitely make Fang Yuan lose 10 kilograms from sorrow. Every other thought in my mind was this woman, which made Liu Ruyan's veins pop on her forehead. She didn't want me to be so smug, so she looked up at Fang Yuan and gave him the first smile since they met. Of course it's not true, I knew it. Fang Yuan was so happy he could cry. Sister Ruyan, I regret it. I shouldn't have gone abroad in the first place. Otherwise My expression turned a little unhappy. The grapes in my mouth no longer tasted sweet. I tossed the few remaining grapes onto the platter, stood up and said, I'm going to the bathroom for a bit, as expected of Liu Ruyan. The man she has loved for so many years can just be unloved at the drop of a hat. I really don't know how a person like Fang Yuan, who's one way to your face and another behind your back, with more schemes than seeds in a dragon fruit, could have possibly been loved by her and so infatuated for so many years. With this kind of judgment of character, it's a miracle the Liu Corporation hasn't collapsed in her hands. Lin Feng Liu Ruyan's voice, filled with boundless anger, came from behind. I stopped in my tracks and turned my head with a puzzled look. Fang Yuan also looked at her with a puzzled expression. Liu Ruyan took a few deep breaths, wanting to extinguish the fire in her heart, but ultimately failed. Get out and use the public restroom, Liu Ruyan roared. Liu Ruyan can't let others know that she can hear other people's inner thoughts, so getting angry now will only make others think she's sick. I'm speechless. Is she getting angry at me for Fang Yuan's sake? Isn't her reaction a bit too slow? Looks like her brain might have been damaged from the impact. For the first time, Liu Ruyan felt that being able to hear inner thoughts was truly the worst thing ever, unless she was made of wood. Otherwise, she would sooner or later get sick from anger. I muttered curses in my head and walked out of the room until I was far away and Liu Ruyan could no longer hear my inner thoughts. That her tightly furrowed brows began to relax. Sister Ruyan, during the 5 years I was away, I missed you very much. Without me to interfere, Fang Yuan tried to have a heart-to-heart with Liu Ruyan again. Liu Ruyan was in a bad mood and just gave a cold, in a foreign land, all alone. I realized how much you protected me before and understood that only you can give me happiness. Fang Yuan pressed his lips together, looking like he wanted to say something but held back. Sister Ruyan, you and Lin Feng, do you have feelings for each other? What kind of feelings are you referring to? Liu Ruyan glanced at him. Of course it's love. Two people who marry must have love, right? Because only when two people are in love can they be happy. At least half of what he said was wrong. He said that on purpose. The purpose was to awaken the Liu Ruyan of the past, the one who couldn't be without him. The Liu Ruyan at that time was certain that she and Fang Yuan would live very happily if they married. I'm not in love with him. Liu Ruyan's expression was calm. Fang Yuan was overjoyed. He was just about to speak. Liu Ruyan then changed her tone. But now, I'm quite interested in him. In your eyes, does this count as a kind of affection? As soon as she finished speaking, the color on Fang Yuan's face drained at a speed visible to the naked eye. Realizing that Liu Ruyan might no longer love him was one thing, but hearing it with his own ears was still hard to accept. Ruyan, are you serious? Fang Yuan's throat felt like it was full of gravel. It sounded extremely hoarse. This blow was too great for him. Liu Ruyan, who had always been completely devoted to him, now she was telling him with her own mouth that she was interested in another man. This was more unbearable than killing him. Liu Ruyan nodded, completely shattering the last bit of hope in Fang Yuan's heart. He hoped he had misheard, or that Liu Ruyan was speaking out of anger. Unfortunately, it was neither. Liu Ruyan was telling the truth. Why? Fang Yuan gripped the decorative tassel on his bag. Didn't you? Are you trying to say, didn't I love you? Liu Ruyan interrupted him. The mockery in her eyes couldn't have been more obvious. You were the one who always rejected my love. Whether I love you or not, Is it important? I'm interested in Lin Feng. To you, it should also be unimportant. So why are you asking this? Don't you find it very strange? I just didn't want you to get me so easily. I wanted you to feel that me marrying you was something you had to beg for. That way, you would know how to cherish me and always keep your heart with me. Only then could I, in front of you, hold my head high in the Liu family. But I didn't expect that your love for me was only this much. I went abroad to burnish my credentials and finally came back. Yet you've become interested in another man. I've truly lost the whole game. Fang Yuan took a deep breath. He yanked hard, breaking the decorative tassel on his bag. He barely managed to calm down. I regret it, all right? Liu Ruyan's eyes were deep and cold. Fang Yuan's inner voice made her feel nothing but disgust for the man in front of her. He actually always wanted to control me. What great ambition. My inner thoughts when I went to the bathroom were harsh, but they were indeed correct. Her judgment of character is too poor. I know. Liu Ruyan's reaction was as calm as water, the thing she had always longed for before. She could now have it with just a beckon of her finger. But she wasn't moved at all. Your regret is your business, but I'm already married, so I'm very sorry. This was almost a direct declaration that there was no possibility between them anymore. Seeing years of effort go down the drain, Fang Yuan's emotions instantly collapsed. Liu Ruyan, you're heartless. His face was covered in tears. Anyone seeing a man like that crying would feel some pity. But once Liu Ruyan hated someone, even if the other person was handsome and charming, it couldn't stir the slightest ripple in her heart. She didn't respond. It's not clear if she didn't want to respond, or was too lazy to respond. But whichever it was definitely pushing Fang Yuan's emotions further to the brink of collapse. You clearly loved me so much before. Why don't you love me anymore? Fang Yuan cried as he wiped the tears from his face. His accusatory tone was like a child's. You're a liar! You clearly said you would always wait for me. Liu Ruyan remained unmoved. She glanced at the wall clock. He's been in the bathroom for 15 minutes. Did he run away? Liu Ruyan's eyes darkened. If this man dares to run, don't blame me for being merciless. I'm a bit of a slow burn. It's not like you don't know that. Besides, I was young at the time. I was still very vague about feelings. But now, I'm sure, I love you too. It started even before I realized it myself. I was already in love with you. Fang Yuan didn't realize at all that Liu Ruyan wasn't listening to him at all. He was crying and pouring his heart out very seriously. I came out of the bathroom. I took a phone call from Bai Mingjie. So I was a little late getting back. When I reached the door of the hospital room, I heard a man crying inside. I opened my mouth with a smirk. Mr. Fang, you shouldn't cry at my wife's bedside like that. People who don't know might think she's dead. Fang Yuan's crying stopped abruptly. He turned his head and glared at me with resentment. This brat must have used some underhanded trick to bewitch Ruyan and said a lot of bad things about me behind my back. Otherwise, Ruyan has loved me for so many years. How could she just stop loving me like that? It's impossible for her to just stop loving me. Ruyan must still have feelings for me in her heart. I still have a chance. My years of effort absolutely cannot go to waste. Fang Yuan's inner voice made Liu Ruyan feel both annoyed and very angry. Her love for Fang Yuan was created under his calculations. Moreover, for all these years he has always played her in the palm of his hand. For someone as proud as her, this was a great humiliation. Don't look at me like that, I'm scared. I don't know what happened between Liu Ruyan and Fang Yuan in the 15 minutes I was gone. But based on the current situation, the two of them definitely had a falling out. If I don't stir up trouble now, when else would I do it? Wifey, I'm so scared. I ran to the bedside. I squatted down and rested my chin on the bed, looking pitifully at Liu Ruyan. The way he looks at me is like he wants to eat me alive. I don't think it's that serious. Isn't it just that I stole her love for him? And her body too? Why is he so angry? It's so disgusting. Liu Ruyan glanced at me. The corner of her mouth twitched almost imperceptibly. Just based on this personality of mine. Did he really do something to me in our past life? Liu Ruyan still didn't understand at this moment. To love someone also means exposing your weakness. Exposing it to the one you love. If one day the person you love wants to hurt you, the knife is still the one you handed them yourself, if it weren't for being too in love. Who would so easily give someone the chance to hurt them? Lin Feng, that's enough. The fire of anger in Fang Yuan's heart shot straight to his brain. He pointed at my nose uncontrollably. You're doing this on purpose to disgust me? Where did I disgust you? Don't slander people. I'm telling the truth. You clearly know that between me and Ruyan. What do I know? I interrupted Fang Yuan. I playfully stuck out my tongue. I'm only 20 this year. You and Ruyan are both 26. When you two could have been kissing. I hadn't even graduated from middle school. How would I know what was going on between you two? Mr. Fang, I know you like Ruyan. And Ruyan likes you too. But we're married. But it's not impossible for you two to be together. After all, Ruyan can accept me cheating on her. I can't be too narrow-minded either, right? I can allow you two to have a little affair now and then. What is this nonsense you're spouting, Yun? Listen to what he's saying. You say you're interested in this kind of man? I really can't believe it. Fang Yuan shouted angrily. I'm only 20, not 26. I can only be considered a boy, not a man or an uncle or anything, I said with a giggle. So satisfying, it'll piss you off so much it'll mess up your hormones. Whether Fang Yuan was angry enough to mess up his hormones is unknown for now, but right now, he's definitely about to have a brain hemorrhage from anger. His body swayed a few times. He squeezed out 2 words from between his teeth. Lin Feng, what is it, uncle? Oh wait, Mr. Feng, why are you calling my name so excitedly? I blinked my big eyes. My expression was innocent, compared to Feng Yuan, who was in a state of rage and had a powerful aura. This appearance of mine is definitely more likable. Even Feng Yuan thought so. He realized that his current appearance must be extremely ugly. He took a few deep breaths. Only then did he manage to adjust his facial expression. Then he asked with a fierce look in his eyes, Lin Feng, you really like acting like a green tea boy, don't you? Acting like a green tea boy? I tilted my head with a puzzled expression. Mr. Feng, what does acting like a green tea boy mean? I don't really understand. Fang Yuan let out a cold laugh. He looked down at Liu Ruyan. Ruyan? He says he doesn't understand. But you should understand, right? Liu Ruyan's family background and her once-in-a-million beautiful face destined her to always be surrounded by men. But she only had eyes for Fang Yuan. Towards the men who actively pursued her, she always rejected them with a cold face. But there was once an exception. During her high school days, a male classmate of hers was also very skillful and actually received her admiration. After Fang Yuan found out, he approached that classmate and discovered that he was a typical green tea boy, so he told Liu Ruyan directly, explaining what a green tea boy was. Liu Ruyan had always listened to his words. She immediately distanced herself from that classmate, and from then on, she hated this type of boy. So this was a very advantageous counterattack for Fang Yuan to use against me right now. Unfortunately, the Liu Ruyan of today was no longer someone who would listen to him or go along with everything he said like before. I only saw Liu Ruyan glance at me. Then she looked at Fang Yuan and asked, Is that so? Fang Yuan's body swayed. His face looked as ugly as if he'd just eaten shit. Mr. Fang, I'm just kidding with you. Of course I know what a green tea boy is, but I'm not acting like a green tea boy. I'm acting cute. I tap my chin with my index finger, a charming smile. Acting cute for the woman who likes me. She'll like me even more. Such a profitable deal. Why wouldn't I do it? Ruyan doesn't like you, Fang Yuan roared. Of course, I know Liu Ruyan doesn't like me. So even though right now, between Liu Ruyan and Fang Yuan, a conflict has arisen for some unknown reason, and Liu Ruyan is sulking at Fang Yuan, I wouldn't bet on Liu Ruyan cooperating with me to piss off Fang Yuan. After all, losing a bet is very embarrassing. So I thought for a moment, and said something that was pretty irrefutable. I'm a pretty shameless person. Even if your Ruyan doesn't like me, he'll just act as if she likes me. What a genius. Mr. Fang, although you're older now, acting cute isn't cute anymore, but there's no other way to be able to win my wife's affection. You should still give it a try. My wife may not say it, but she might really like it in her heart. My words were truly as shameless as they could be, and as infuriating as they could be. The wife this, wife that part especially, made Fang Yuan furious. If it were anyone else, they would have lost their composure and started cursing by now. But Fang Yuan was smart after all. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made Liu Ruyan fall in love with him. So he knew that in the current situation, it was impossible for him to turn the tables. Fang Yuan's hand, which was tightly gripping his bag, loosened slightly. He forced a smile. Lin Feng, you're still too young. You don't know that a man's charm isn't just about being cute, but that's okay. I'll let you know what kind of man is most suitable for Ruyan. I shrugged. My action was even more infuriating than words. Fang Yuan was afraid that if he stayed any longer, I'd piss him to death. He looked at Liu Ruyan with a pale face and said, Ruyan, I'm not feeling well. I'm leaving first. I'll come visit you again tomorrow. As soon as he finished speaking, he didn't get any response from the woman. If it were before, he just had to say he wasn't feeling well. And Liu Ruyan would be extremely worried, treating him like a fragile newborn. Even during the 5 years he was abroad, when he wasn't well, Liu Ruyan would always find a way to arrange for someone to take him to the hospital and take care of him very attentively. But now Liu Ruyan was completely unmoved. If this isn't falling out of love, what else could it be? The rims of Fang Yuan's eyes turned red, finally not wanting to let his dignity be completely trampled on the ground. He didn't say another word. He turned and left. I'm so unwilling to accept this. Could it be that after all my years of effort, I still can't marry into the Liu family in the end? I'm really so unwilling to accept this. No, I absolutely cannot give up. With my status and background, it's too difficult to marry a woman from a prominent family. Only with Liu Ruyan is there still some hope. As long as there's a little hope, I have to grasp it tightly. Otherwise, for the rest of my life, I can only be someone of low status. Liu Ruyan lowered her eyes, silently listening to Fang Yuan's inner thoughts. A trace of mockery flashed in her eyes. Fang Yuan wanted to change his low status by marrying her. This was his only goal from beginning to end. What a pity that her sincere feelings were fed to the dogs. One is because for so many years. It's getting late. I'm going home too. I have class tomorrow. Fang Yuan is gone. I don't need to pretend to be cute anymore. My sharp-featured face returned to its previous ice-cold expression. With your speed of changing faces, it's a pity you don't go into opera. The corner of Liu Ruyan's mouth curved into a distinct arc. She seemed to be in a very good mood. The reason she could love Fang Yuan: 1. Fang Yuan was indeed skillful. 2. He happened to be the type of person Liu Ruyan liked. As for me, I'm the complete opposite type of person to Fang Yuan, but I don't know why. Now, the more she looks at me, the more pleasing to the eye I become. She even found the way I pissed off Fang Yuan earlier to be very cute. Liu Ruyan felt that she must have gone crazy. Could it be because of those inner thoughts of mine, knowing how much I used to love her? Is that why this is happening? She didn't know. She only knew that before she could figure out what I had experienced before my rebirth, she couldn't possibly let me leave her side. If you dare to listen, I dare to sing, I said with a blank face. Deal. 30 million per show, Liu Ruyan sneered. You actually dare to ask for it. You still dare to listen. What is there that I wouldn't dare to ask for? I stood up, ready to leave. He'll have the nurse take care of you tonight. No, Liu Ruyan disagreed. It wasn't that she couldn't bear to be away from me, but she was afraid I would go to the psychiatric ward again and randomly drag someone over. Thinking back to the woman from this afternoon, her mood still wasn't very good. I frowned, just about to say something to her. Shuru walked in from outside. I cursed my bad luck internally. I just sent Fang Yuan off, and now comes a Shuru. I'm a warrior, but I can't fight anymore this late at night. Seeing me with my school bag in hand, Shuru asked with a sour expression, Are you planning to leave? I nodded coldly. It's too late. If I don't go home, my mother will worry. Cut the crap. Your stepmother would worry about you? Shurou's face was full of mockery. She's just hoping you die outside, so there's no one to fight with her son for the family fortune. If you don't know how to talk, then sew your mouth shut. The Liu family has a great fortune. They surely don't lack a needle and thread. I was too lazy to argue with her. After saying that, I left. This time, Shuru knew her place. She didn't stop me either. After I left the hospital room, Shuru quickly went to the bedside. She placed the thermal lunchbox she was carrying on the bedside table. Daughter, Mom stewed some chicken soup for you. This car accident has injured your foundation. You must nourish yourself well. Drink a few more bowls later. Liu Ruyan nodded lightly, not saying anything. As Shuru poured the chicken soup into a bowl, she observed her daughter's expression. After she finished pouring, she pretended to say casually, I saw Fang Yuan downstairs. I saw his eyes were red. Did you two argue? No, I know what you're trying to probe. Liu Ruyan interrupted Shuru. Her eyes were calm and waveless. Evie said it, besides Grandpa, no one can decide my marriage. As for my love life, even more so, no one has the right to ask about or decide it. The more she spoke, the sharper her gaze became. Shurou's throat tightened. She wanted to speak but didn't dare to. In the end, she could only sigh. Then she had Liu Ruyan drink 2 large bowls of chicken soup. Then she tidied up a bit and left. Ju Ya was standing right outside. Shuru walked past her. Then she stepped back, looking at her with a probing gaze. Assistant Ju, have you been standing outside this whole time? Then do you know, with Fang Yuan inside just now, what happened between the 3 of them? Shuru leaned close to Ju Ya and whispered in her ear. A flicker appeared in Ju Ya's eyes. She shook her head. Director Liu instructed that, when there are others in the room, I should stand a little further away, so I don't know anything. Shuru clicked her tongue, a little displeased. But Ju Ya was Liu Ruyan's person after all. She didn't dare to be too outrageous. She could only leave resentfully. I left the hospital and went straight to my family home. Zhang Yuan was sitting on the sofa in the living room, wearing a face mask, watching TV. Hearing the door open, she turned her head. Seeing I was back, she took off the face mask she had just put on. Why are you back here? At Jadewater Villa, it's just you and Auntie Chen. I'm scared being alone on the 2nd floor. I put the keys on the shoe cabinet and walked into the living room. I sat down next to Zhang Yuan. Besides, it's not as comfortable there as it is at home. Zhang Yuan glanced at me and said with a cold snort, even though you plan to divorce Liu Ruyan. But you've been married for less than 2 days and you're already running back to your family home. If other people find out, who knows what they'll say about you behind your back. I don't care what other people say about me. I grabbed a grape from the fruit plate and put it in my mouth. I said with a relaxed expression, even if no woman wants me in the future, I don't care. Staying by Mom and Dad's side for my whole life is exactly what I want. You're just talking nonsense. Zhang Yuan looked at me angrily. If you say another word, I'll kick you out and let you fend for yourself outside. I smiled faintly. Would you have the heart to? You're not my biological son. Why wouldn't I have the heart to? If she had said this before my rebirth, you might be very unhappy after hearing this, and from then on, you'd be even more prejudiced against Zhang Yuan. But now, it's not like that at all. I swallow the grape in my mouth, then I get up from the sofa. Mom probably guessed you'd be back tonight. Otherwise, she wouldn't have left freshly washed grapes on the coffee table. Mom, you're always so cold on the outside but warm on the inside. You'll lose out sooner or later. Zhang Yuan scoffs lightly. The biggest loss I've suffered is not kicking you out sooner, wasting so much food. I chuckled. It'll be mooching off you for many more years. Even if you don't like it, you'll have to put up with it. After saying that, I scampered upstairs. Lin Feng, you. When are you moving your things back? Zhang Yuan stood up and called out to me. I stopped and looked downstairs. It'll move tomorrow. Help me contact a moving company, okay? Do I owe you something? Zhang Yuan shouted angrily. I knew for sure she would help me, so I went upstairs with a cheerful face. Returning to the room I hadn't seen in a long time, I took a deep breath. The scent of lavender filled my nostrils, relaxing my tense spirit from the whole day. Before I was reborn, after marrying Liu Ruyan, I rarely came home, but every time I did, my room was always clean and tidy, filled with the scent of lavender. Even if I didn't come back, Zheng Yuan would still clean my room regularly. It's a pity my brain was waterlogged in my past life. Even though I noticed this, I never thought carefully about why. I sighed softly. I walked to the wardrobe, opened the closet. Inside were clean pajamas. I smiled. I took the pajamas and went into the bathroom. Once my nerves relaxed, I couldn't help but feel sleepy, afraid I'd fall asleep in the bathtub. I gave up the idea of taking a bath. After a hot shower, I got out of the bathroom. I lay on the bed. I let out a comfortable groan. It's great being 20 and reading books every day, hanging out with friends in my free time, living for my own happiness. Isn't that 100 times better than revolving around a woman every day, letting her decide my mood all the time? Someone who has tasted bitterness, doesn't want to eat even a little bit of it later. That's the state I'm in right now. I turned over, thinking about what I had to do at school tomorrow. I thought for a while and then fell asleep. The next day, when I woke up and went downstairs, I saw Zhang Yuan on the phone. I didn't go over. I stood there and listened to a sentence or two. I could tell she was calling a moving company. I went to pour a glass of water. I waited for Zhang Yuan to hang up. I immediately handed her the water. "Mom, you've worked hard." Zhang Yuan glanced at me. She must be in a good mood. She took the glass of water without a word. My eyes darted around. I raised both hands to massage her shoulders. "Mom, I want to find a hospital for my clinical studies. Do you know anyone who works at a hospital? A doctor or a nurse would be fine. It's more convenient to do things there if you know someone." Zhang Yuan closed her eyes, enjoying my service. "A few years ago, I had a stomachache. I went to Tonk Hospital to see a doctor. Don't be fooled by his youth, but his medical skills are excellent. After seeing him many times, I became familiar with him. Then we exchanged contact information. We've kept in touch sporadically over the years. Let me ask him for you." "Great. I knew you were well connected, Mom. You make useful friends wherever you go. I've now grasped how to get along with Zhang Yuan. As long as I sweet-talk her, everything is negotiable, no matter how arrogant Zhang Yuan is, with flattery like this. She can't bring herself to scold me. She just glared at me and said nothing. After breakfast, I went out to go to school. I left quite early. As soon as I got to school, I texted Bai Mingjie. Bai Mingjie said he had just woken up, so I had to go to the classroom first. When I got inside, I discovered that the seats I and Bai Mingjie usually sat in were taken. There was a girl in the seat. I'd never seen her in class before. When I walked past her, I curiously glanced at her a few more times. Unexpectedly, the girl suddenly looked up. The two of us looked at each other. I awkwardly nodded at her. "Hi." The girl had a stony face. She didn't say a word and looked down again. Now I wasn't just embarrassed. I also looked like a clown. I frowned, although I was a little unhappy. It wasn't worth arguing with someone so rude, so I didn't say anything. I sat in a spot a little far from the girl. After putting down my school bag, I opened my anatomy book to review the previous lesson's content. I'm a pretty serious reader, not easily distracted by my surroundings. So when it started getting a bit noisy around me, I felt annoyed. When I looked up, the classroom was already packed. I had a bewildered look on my face because there was no one I knew in the class. I reacted pretty quickly. It only took 2 seconds to realize I had entered the wrong classroom. I immediately grabbed my book and bag and headed for the door. Isn't that Lin Feng from the medical department? Why is he here? Looks like he went to the wrong class. The corner of my mouth twitched. I walked even faster. Although I've been very low-key since starting university, my grades are excellent, and my looks aren't bad either. Plus, Bai Mingji promotes me wherever he goes. It's hard not to be famous. I struggled a bit to get out of the classroom. I turned my head to look at the class nameplate and silently cursed myself. I clearly slept well last night and woke up feeling refreshed. How could I have gone to the wrong floor? I walked upstairs while checking my watch. A glance told me there were 2 minutes left until class started. I hurriedly ran up. Finally, when the bell rang, I just managed to run to the classroom door. The professor on the podium glanced at me and didn't say anything, just motioned for me to quickly take a seat and then prepared to start the lecture. I found Bai Mingjie and quickly walked over to sit down. "Feng, did you get to school early? Why did you just get to class?" Bai Mingjie leaned into my ear and whispered, "Don't mention it." I went into the wrong classroom. I was too engrossed in reading to notice. I propped my book up on the desk and lowered my head with a resentful expression. Puffed. Bai Mingjie couldn't help but laugh. I glared at him with a warning look, seeing that I was really annoyed. Bai Mingjie suppressed his laughter, not daring to act up anymore. The two of them whispered a bit too loudly. The professor looked in our direction and stopped lecturing. He cleared his throat. All the students in the class followed his gaze. This time, it was great. Bai Mingjie also got a taste of embarrassment. Both of us behaved ourselves and started listening attentively to the lecture. As this class was about to end, I caught a glimpse of someone passing by outside the classroom out of the corner of my eye. Although it was just a fleeting glance, I would recognize this person even if he turned to ash. It's my old enemy, Fang Yuan. Why is he at H University? I frowned and looked outside the classroom for a moment. The bell for the end of class rang. I packed my school bag and pulled Bai Mingjie out of the classroom. I just saw Fang Yuan. What? Fang Yuan! Bai Mingjie looked astonished. He's back in the country? I didn't tell him this news yesterday. 1. I didn't want his little head that overthinks things to think nonsense. 2. I was afraid he'd demand to go settle scores with Fang Yuan. Ever since Bai Mingjie knew I liked Liu Ruyan, and Liu Ruyan liked Fang Yuan, he has disliked Fang Yuan. Whenever he saw him, he would definitely taunt him a few times. But because Liu Ruyan protected him, not only did he gain nothing each time, but he also ended up with a belly full of anger. Now as long as I dare to nod, Bai Mingjie would dare to dig 3 feet deep here to find Fang Yuan. Don't get excited just yet. Listen to me first. I grabbed Bai Mingji's arm and patted his chest with my other hand. Liu Ruyan and Fang Yuan are having a conflict. Last night at the hospital, I scolded Fang Yuan, and Liu Ruyan didn't react at all. So don't rush to settle scores with him. No way. You've vented your anger. I need to vent too. You're not unaware how badly he used to curse me with his innuendos. Moreover, the rumors outside that I'm no good were also spread by him. He's just jealous of my good family background, thinking that people like me with no brains are not smart and lack ambition, and are only valued by others because of our good family background. He finds it unfair. Bai Mingji has some talent for judging people. He analyzed Fang Yuan's psychology very accurately. Bai Mingjie, you're pretty good. I looked at him with a scrutinizing gaze, as if I were meeting him for the first time. I really underestimated you before. I thought you were just a useless rich kid who did nothing and was empty-headed. Get lost. Bai Mingji pretended to be angry and raised his hand to pat my shoulder lightly. Why are you as annoying as that Fang Yuan? All right, I was just kidding. I grabbed his hand. If you were really as I said, how could you have gotten into H University? It's just that in many matters, you don't want to think too much. Your thoughts are relatively simple. This is actually a good thing. Bai Mingjie liked hearing these words. He pouted at me, then broke into a smile. He'll give it to you. You know how to talk. He'll reluctantly forgive your disrespect just now. I looked at his silly appearance and pinched his chiseled face. I want to know what Fang Yuan is doing at H University. Help me find out. I can find this out just by asking around. Bai Mingji looked around. He passed by here. Let me see who can. Hey, Fanjiru, come here. A girl leaning against a wall not far away heard him. She looked towards us and walked over. Mingji, what's up? Fanjiru looked sleepy. I was dozing off. All you do all day is sleep. I want to ask you about someone. Just now, before class ended, a man walked past in the hallway. Did you see where he went? Fanjiru opened her eyes slightly. She was silent for a few seconds, then said, he was holding a job application in his hand. Probably a new teacher. He must have gone to the principal's office. He came to H University to be a teacher? Bai Mingji couldn't believe it, his eyes wide. Pfft. Is he even worthy? A master's degree from abroad? Why wouldn't he be worthy? I said with a mocking expression. That crappy school he attended abroad? You can get in with money back then. Who knows how much money Liu Ruyan spent to get him in? Now he's back in the country and came to H University to be a teacher. Does he really think he's that great? The more Bai Mingji spoke, the angrier he got. After finishing, he walked towards the stairs. It was clear he wanted to go to the principal's office. To cause trouble for Fang Yuan, I hurriedly pulled him back. Mingji, don't be hasty. Even if we don't go looking for him, he will come looking for us. Mingji looked at me doubtfully. How do you know? Yesterday I made him lose face in front of Liu Ruyan. Now that he's at H University, and has even become a teacher at H University, he definitely wants to take this opportunity to get even and teach me a lesson. I smirked with a sly smile. I understand him very well now. Bai Mingji had always believed my words, and seeing me speak so confidently, Bai Mingji pouted. All right then, I'll believe you. I'll wait for him to deliver himself to our doorstep. The next class is about to start. I smiled at Fanjiru. Thanks, we're heading back to class now. Fanjiru nodded listlessly. She raised her hand and patted Bai Mingji's head. Then she returned to her original spot, leaning against the wall and dozing off. Bai Mingji looked at her and mumbled, she's so weird, always liking to sleep against the wall like that. I wonder if she can actually fall asleep. For her to be like that, it's either she has a strange, hard-to-understand hobby, or she has some kind of purpose. I looked down at him with a meaningful expression. Bai Mingjie, shouldn't you be in a relationship by now? Fanjiru is indeed a strange person. She has always been a loner at school. At first, I was very curious. Why such a lonely person was familiar with Bai Mingjie. Later, I heard that Fanjiru was originally the illegitimate daughter of Fan Group's chairman Fan Ming. Fan Ming had a car accident. His wife and daughter were also in the car. Only he was saved. After waking up, he had someone call Fanjiru to his bedside. The meaning was self-evident. It was also from this moment that Fanjiru began to pursue Bai Mingjie and pursued him very openly. That's why I said those words that confused Bai Mingjie so much just now. Why are your sentences so disconnected? Bai Mingjie looked at me like I was crazy. Besides, I told you a long time ago, I don't want to taste the bitterness of love. I want to live happily alone for the rest of my life. If there's someone who can love you for a lifetime, it's definitely happier than being alone, I said with a grin. Bai Mingjie scoffed. Give me a break. I don't believe any woman can love one man for a lifetime. Even in Disney's beautiful fairy tales, the prince is always the same person. Is that true? I was shocked. Bai Mingjie glared at me. If you don't believe me, look it up online yourself. You're so knowledgeable. I believe you. At that moment, the bell for class rang in my ears. I ended this topic and pulled Bai Mingjie back to class. Halfway through the class, Bai Mingjie leaned into my ear and whispered, "When is Fang Yuan coming to find you?" We'll have to wait until at least the end of this class, but after this class is the lunch break. Under my teasing gaze, Bai Mingjie stubbornly said, "I have to eat during the lunch break." Aren't you hungry? He's a glutton. He never skips any of his 3 meals a day, and his mouth doesn't rest for the remainder of the time. Not letting him eat at mealtime is worse than killing him. Then you go eat, you'll wait for Fang Yuan alone. No way. How could I leave you alone to face the enemy? Am I that disloyal? Bai Mingjie said indignantly, as if I were insulting him. I understood him and asked with amusement, have you thought it through? Not eating lunch anymore? It was clear he hadn't thought it through. He wanted to eat lunch, but he also didn't want to leave me. He hesitated for a long time. He suddenly pulled me with a happy expression. Didn't you say Fang Yuan would come looking for you? Then let's go to the cafeteria. Hell, come find you there too. That's right. Our brains are so stupid, not flexible at all. Bai Mingjie packed his school bag. Hurry up. If we're a little late, my favorite dish will be gone. I glanced at him. I didn't say that if we go to the cafeteria, Fang Yuan might not necessarily find us. A person who cares so much about his status and tries to make himself look high class and like a peerless noble, a place like the school cafeteria, he would never deign to come to. But even if Fang Yuan doesn't come, he'll use other methods to make trouble for him later. It's not like this is the only chance. It's just a pity for Bai Mingjie that he can't vent the anger from that year. But I had underestimated how provoked he was yesterday when I saw Fang Yuan and a female teacher walk into the cafeteria. I was a little surprised for a moment. Then I guessed that maybe Fang Yuan was too angry, that he would rather lower his status to come here, just to find me and vent his anger. I bit the end of my chopsticks, my eyes crinkling with a smile. Bai Mingjie, turn around and see who's here. Bai Mingjie was busy eating. He had no mind to listen to me, not until Fang Yuan walked over. Did he look up at him, without reacting at first? Then he looked at him again, and finally reacted, staring at him with wide eyes. Long time no see. Fang Yuan smiled gently and politely. His face was meticulously neat and clean. He wore the latest season's Armani suit. The watch on his wrist was a limited edition, priceless and unavailable for purchase. One look and you could tell this was a true young master, a son from some rich family. Oh, isn't this young master Fang who's kept by a woman? For someone with a noble status like you, wouldn't coming here dirty you? Bai Mingjie put down his chopsticks. He stopped eating. His whole body switched to attack mode. Compared to me in the past, Fang Yuan hated Bai Mingjie more, just like now. Bai Mingjie had an arrogant expression and spoke with sharp sarcasm. Although it's said that a soft knife hurts more, a hard knife can also be deadly. Every time, Fang Yuan was mentally and physically crushed by his stabs. How could he not hate him? Fang Yuan's expression turned a little ugly because he was in a hurry to get revenge on me for yesterday at the hospital. He had forgotten about Bai Mingjie's existence. When Liu Ruyan wasn't here, this glutton was his nemesis. The female teacher with Fang Yuan heard these words and looked at him with a slightly strange expression. The student, you should watch your mouth. This is an insult to my character. Be careful or I'll sue you. Fang Yuan's eyes were stern, full of imposing momentum. He truly had the air of a teacher disciplining a student. Sue me? Bai Mingjie sneered. Someone who studied Western knowledge is truly different. You even speak with more authority than before. Not only authority, but you've also lost your memory. Then wouldn't my wife become a fool? The man she supported for so many years has come to nothing, I continued. These words contained a bit too much information. Teacher Chen, who was with Fang Yuan, looked at Fang Yuan with an embarrassed expression. Teacher Fang, do you know these two students? We are indeed old acquaintances, of course. Fang Yuan couldn't let Teacher Chen believe Bai Mingjie's and my words. He frowned and emphasized, but there's a little misunderstanding between us. So His expression was calm, and he spoke with a degree of restraint, exuding the aura of a mature man. It was very convincing, I see. Teacher Chen had a smile on her face again. Her words were full of concern. I knew Teacher Fang wouldn't be the kind of person they described. A graceful and virtuous lady is a gentleman's fine pursuit. Fang Yuan is handsome and has a good disposition. If you walk around the school, I can't say 100%, but at least 80% of the single female teachers would be smitten and be eager to make a move. Naturally, Teacher Chen is one of them. Pfft. Bai Mingjie covered his mouth and snickered. Fang Yuan, don't you blush hearing what Teacher Chen said? A thick-skinned person wouldn't show a blush even if they had one. The two of them sang in perfect harmony, their words harsh. Fang Yuan's face turned pale, then ashen. Two fists can't fight four hands, no matter how he tried. He was at a disadvantage. He took a deep breath and looked at Teacher Chen, his eyes reddening slightly. Teacher Chen, thank you for bringing me here. It's getting late. You should go get some food. Just let them say what they want here. I don't care. After speaking, he walked over to my side, looking like he was about to sit down. Teacher Chen quickly pulled him back, saying worriedly, Teacher Fang, what are you still planning to sit here for? To let them insult you as they please? She looked at me and Bai Mingjie, her face showing clear anger. What major are you students in? This is the new Teacher Fang from the pharmacy department. You've studied for so many years. Don't you know how to respect your teachers? I didn't look at her, but let out a cold laugh at Fang Yuan. Liu Ruyan isn't here, so you plan to use Teacher Chen as your backer. I see it crystal clear. You really can't live without relying on women. We are clinical medicine students. You're not a teacher for clinical medicine, are you? Then you have no authority over us. Bai Mingjie has been an unruly troublemaker since he was young. He wouldn't back down just because the woman in front of him has the status of a teacher. Teacher Chen is from the nursing department. Even if her reach was long, she couldn't manage. Students from the clinical medicine department, Teacher Chen's face showed a bit of embarrassment, but in front of Fang Yuan, she couldn't soften her stance, so she had to say firmly, even if I'm not your major's teacher, you are students and I am a teacher. I still have the right to discipline you. I don't want to argue with you about this. You can discipline us, but what if we don't listen? Bai Mingjie picked up his chopsticks, a mocking expression on his face. A university teacher with such a wide reach. This is the first time I've seen one. Otherwise, why don't you take a needle and thread and sew our mouths shut? That way, the teacher Fang Yu won't have to suffer anymore? He bluntly pointed out Teacher Chen's feelings for Fang Yuan, making her extremely embarrassed. Fang Yuan glanced at her, his brows furrowing slightly. If he married a woman like this, he could only let others bully him, becoming an extremely lowly person. Only Liu Ruyan could make him a man above all others, respected by everyone, therefore, he must win this battle. I can't win against him. Teacher Chen didn't dare say anything more to me and Bai Mingji, afraid we would say something to make her even more embarrassed and make Fang Yuan lose even more face. So she spoke to Fang Yuan in a gentle voice. Teacher Fang, they're still just kids. Don't stoop to their level, especially with your status. It would be demeaning. What kind of status does he have? My smile was full of hidden meaning. A gigolo? Or an older male student being kept? I've told you. Watch your words. Fang Yuan was truly angry now, his tone extremely stern. Just as Teacher Chen said, I am a teacher after all. So please, show me some respect. I shrugged. The smile on my face looked very punchable. I was just asking. I didn't say that's what you are. No need to get so worked up. How could he not be worked up? If he didn't get worked up, wouldn't there be no way to trick others into thinking our words are false? Bai Mingjie rested his chin on his hand and looked at Teacher Chen. Teacher Chen, am I right? You students are truly unreasonable. You've gone too far. I really don't know how two students with such poor character managed to get into medical school. It's truly a disgrace to the school. Bai Mingjie looked at me and mouthed the word, woof. I understood his meaning, and we both chuckled softly. Isn't this a genuine simp? Fang Yuan really has a talent. He gathers quite a few simps wherever he goes, and they're the type with no limits. But it's not surprising. After all, Fang Yuan is considered god-tier handsome. A person with a not-so-great past, in front of someone who knows about his not-so-great past, will naturally be at a disadvantage. If it were just me, it would be better. But with Bai Mingjie here too, no matter how he struggles now, he can't gain the upper hand. Originally, I wanted to resolve the misunderstanding between us and live together peacefully in the future. But since you don't want to, then I have nothing more to say. I've done everything I needed to do. I wish you the best of luck in the future, Fang Yuan said as he stood up. Teacher Fang, you've been wronged. Seeing Teacher Chen's concerned look, Bai Mingjie found it incredibly unsightly and said in a cold tone, Teacher Chen, this handsome young master Fang in front of you, was born in a poor mountain village. The outfit he is wearing now is worth no less than tens of millions, maybe even more, because the watch on his wrist is a priceless, hard-to-find item. It'll tell you the brand. You can go home and look it up online. So, do you still think I'm insulting him? We're just telling the truth, I continued with a sinister smile. Teacher Chen's expression changed. We've made it so clear. If she still doesn't believe it, she's either stupid or her mind is clouded by beauty, beyond cure after all. Teacher Chen had only just met Fang Yuan. She just had a crush on him, not deep feelings, so she gave Fang Yuan a deep look, then turned and left. Fang Yuan's face was ashen. He stood there for a long time without saying anything. Young Master Fang, I know you were eager to settle yesterday's score with me, wanting to get even, but you should use your brain a little. Before coming, you should have asked around about Bai Mingjie to see if he goes to the same school as me. After all, he's your nemesis, I said with a bright smile. Of course, now I'm also Fang Yuan's nemesis. It's just that Fang Yuan hasn't realized it yet. I don't need to ask around. You say Bai Mingjie is my nemesis. You're overestimating him. Fang Yuan laughed coldly. Besides, I didn't come here to get even. In the future, you'll be a teacher at H University. It's inevitable that we'll meet from time to time. I just came to say hello. What kind of teacher are you? I'm really dying of laughter. Let me ask you, did you study medicine abroad? Bai Mingjie's face was full of ridicule, his gaze pressuring Fang Yuan to answer his question immediately. Fang Yuan's expression stiffened, then he adjusted his expression and said very calmly, I have a pharmacist certificate. I'm qualified to be a teacher in the pharmacy department. He didn't directly answer Bai Mingjie's question. Bai Mingjie truly admired his mental fortitude. He was clearly in the wrong, yet he could still act so calm. Don't you feel that standing here now, quibbling in front of us, makes you look very much like a clown? I looked down at my watch. If I were you, I would have left long ago to save my last shred of dignity, not wait until the lunch break is almost over. We're leaving first. After saying that, I stood up and gestured with my chin to Bai Mingjie. Signaling for him to go, the two of us with our arms around each other's shoulders swaggered away right in front of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan stood frozen in place, his hateful gaze fixed on our retreating backs, hating us so much he nearly ground his teeth to dust. In the past, I was always meek in front of him, never daring to provoke him at all. A lot can happen in 5 years. It can also change a person's personality. For me to become like this? He wasn't surprised, but for a moment, he still couldn't accept it. A young master who had always only been able to read, his expression before speaking, suddenly dared to have an attitude with him, especially when faced with my mocking gaze, which seemed to see right through him. He couldn't remain calm. He didn't want me to realize I was a young master who could completely hold my head high and live without restraint, just like Bai Mingjie. Fang Yuan squeezed his eyes shut, then quickly left the cafeteria. Bai Mingjie and I had vented our anger and were in an extremely good mood. When the afternoon classes ended, I once again rejected Bai Mingjie's invitation and went to the hospital. Before the car accident, Liu Ruyan was a workaholic. The time she spent lying in bed 24 hours a day was extremely rare, but now she had to lie in bed for 24 hours straight. The level of discomfort was imaginable. I was in a pretty good mood. I entered the hospital room with a smiling face, a complete contrast to Liu Ruyan, who was wearing a foul expression. Such an ugly expression. Who are you showing it to? Just don't show it to me, or else I'll leave immediately, I thought to myself. She had intended to give me an attitude, but Liu Ruyan took a deep breath and reluctantly asked in what she considered a gentle tone, "Class is over?" I nodded emotionlessly. Isn't that a redundant question? How could I be here if class wasn't over? It seems her brain really has a problem now. Liu Ruyan was silent for a few seconds, feeling that lying in the hospital bed had made her stupid. She was a little angry and wanted to lose her temper, but she couldn't take it out on me. Otherwise, if I got angry and left, she would have to face the nurse she detested so much, so she could only suppress her anger. "What's for dinner tonight?" After asking, I remembered something and continued, "I forgot you can only have porridge now." Liu Ruyan's expression soured even more, drinking only liquids for several days straight. Any normal person wouldn't be able to stand it. Liu Ruyan felt that her mouth was becoming tasteless. "Your mother will bring it, right?" I put my school bag aside and sat down on the chair, casually crossing my legs. "I'll wait for your mother to bring it. After I eat, I'll go home, so this taking care of me until I'm discharged that you mentioned is just visiting me every evening after class and leaving after you eat?" Liu Ruyan asked coldly. "What else?" I raised an eyebrow. "How else do you want me to take care of you? Personally care for your every need?" Pervert Liu Ruyan was so angry she laughed. "Lin Feng, you just wait." I looked at the ceiling. "Anyway, by the time she can move again, she will definitely settle the score with me. When you're deep in debt, you stop worrying. So while she can't move, provoking her more is the only way not to lose out. If I can anger her to death, that's a huge profit, Lin Feng. Do you think you can anger me to death?" This woman's question matched my inner thoughts. I was startled and looked at her with wary eyes. Could she know what I'm thinking? No. How could that be? It must be a coincidence. But I have to admit, this woman is terrifying. A person with no hidden thoughts in front of her is probably no different from being naked. I don't think it's possible. I crossed my arms and quietly looked at the woman before me. My skills are still not enough. "You got into a car accident too soon. Give me 2 more years and it would probably work." Liu Ruyan laughed coldly. "Why didn't I notice you were so sharp-tongued before?" Before, my mind hadn't been enlightened. I was no different from an idiot now that my mind has been enlightened. Don't I seem much smarter? This mouth of mine was inherited from Zhang Yuan. It's very difficult to get the upper hand against this mouth of mine. Neither Fang Yuan nor Liu Ruyan are a match for it. After that, neither of them spoke. The hospital room sank into a deathly silence until Shuru arrived and broke the silence. "Daughter, I know you have no appetite from just eating porridge. Today, I added a little chicken to the porridge. Can you drink a little more?" Unlike usual, where she would pick a fight whenever she saw me, today, Shuru acted as if she didn't see me, not until she poured the porridge into a bowl and held it up. Did she give me a cold glance? Some people are all talk, saying they'll do this and that, but when it's time to do it, they can't. After speaking, she even let out a few mocking laughs. I laughed along, but it was a rather foolish-looking smile. Who is she being sarcastic about here? As long as I don't understand, then it's not about me. I won't respond. "Let's see if that annoys you." Liu Ruyan, in her hospital bed, glanced at me, a hint of a smile in her eyes. Seeing that I just smiled foolishly without saying anything, Shuru said angrily, "What bad luck?" "That's right. Your daughter was in a car accident. How could it not be bad luck? Can you not mention the words car accident?" Shuru yelled angrily. Her beloved daughter was suffering so much. She was heartbroken. Those words were unbearable to hear. Fine. I made a zipping motion across my lips, which looked even more infuriating. Shuru took several deep breaths, reluctantly suppressing the anger in her heart. She grabbed my hand and shoved the bowl into it. "Take good care of my daughter. You were the one who said it, that you would take care of her until she's discharged. You're not allowed to go home tonight either." I looked down at the bowl in my hand. A cunning glint flashed in my eyes. "But I have to go to school." "School?" Xu Rao's expression changed. "Haven't you already dropped out? Didn't you want Liu Ruyan and me to divorce? After I divorce her, what else can I do but go back to school?" Luckily, my grades were too outstanding. The dean didn't want the medical world to lose a talent like me, so he didn't submit my withdrawal application, allowing me to return to school. Otherwise, someone would have ruined my entire life. Liu Ruyan extremely dislikes Xuru, interfering in her marriage and relationships. By saying this, I'm bad-mouthing Xuru while praising myself at the same time, and also being sarcastic as expected. Liu Ruyan's face darkened. Her gaze towards Shuru was a bit gloomy. Shuru guiltily avoided her gaze, then stubbornly tried to argue. "I wasn't the one who told you to divorce. He was the one who proposed it first." Finishing her sentence, she glared angrily at me. "Why is this boy making things up?" I shrugged and said with a faint smile, "I must have misremembered." I didn't misremember. It was clearly intentional anyway. I'm giving Shuru a way out. Although Shuru was still very unhappy inside, her expression had improved considerably. "You stay here tonight and take care of Ruyan. She can't move right now. I don't feel at ease leaving her in someone else's care." Xuru pointed at the bowl in my hand. "I still have some things to do. You feed Ruyan the porridge. Easier said than done. Don't feel at ease leaving her in someone else's care. If you don't feel at ease, why don't you take care of her yourself? To put it bluntly, don't you just want to torture me and not let me live in peace? You should be the least at ease leaving her in my care. Who knows? One day I might be in a bad mood to take revenge on your daughter for my past life. This time, Liu Ruyan heard my inner thoughts and couldn't laugh anymore. She was now facing a life-threatening danger. This was no joking matter. My expression didn't change as I held the spoon and looked at Liu Ruyan. Don't worry, I will take good care of her. I placed special emphasis on the words, take care. Liu Ruyan's gaze darkened, her expression full of warning. I averted my gaze, pretending not to see, seeing that I no longer objected. Shuru didn't say anything more, picked up her bag and left. As she was leaving, she deliberately said to Ju Ya, who was standing at the door, if he leaves, let me know. All right, so even if I didn't want to, I have to stay at the hospital today. If I leave, it would be like stomping all over Xu Rao's pride. It would be strange if she didn't go crazy then, after Xu Rao was far away. I fed Liu Ruyan the porridge. During that time, neither of us said a word. The hospital room was extremely quiet. I noticed Liu Ruyan's eyes, which had been looking down, suddenly looked up and towards the space behind me, full of suspicion. I turned my head. The woman standing behind me had a tall figure, standing very close to me. I felt like I was facing a wall and jumped in surprise. I frowned and looked up and was met with a defiant face. I was very familiar with this woman, Liu Ruyan's cousin, the daughter of Xu Rao's younger brother, Xu Kaiming Xu Han. Before my rebirth, Xu Han, just like Liu Ruyan, hated me. And the reason was none other than feeling I wasn't worthy of the cousin she had worshipped since childhood. Every time she saw me, a barrage of mockery and sarcasm was inevitable. If it were just mocking and sarcasm, it would have been fine, really. I could have chosen to ignore it, it wouldn't have caused me any real harm, but this person, Xu Han, was evil to the core. She would often trip me up behind my back, so I hated her immensely. How could I have forgotten about this dog? Before my rebirth, I suffered and was wronged by her countless times. When I have time, I must deal with her. Naturally, Liu Ruyan also heard my inner thoughts. Her gaze towards Xu Han was a little displeased. This cousin of hers had been a seed of evil since childhood, not to mention being narrow-minded and holding grudges. If she disliked someone, even if they hadn't offended her, she would still come up with vicious tricks to harm them. Truly someone with an extremely dark heart. If this rebirth thing that happened to me is real, then before my rebirth, I must have been bullied by Xu Han countless times. You better restrain yourself, Liu Ruyan warned. The first thing she said upon seeing Xu Han was this, which reached my ears, and I found it rather confusing, but Xu Han understood Liu Ruyan's meaning. She raised an eyebrow, feeling a little surprised. Doesn't her cousin hate me? Why is she suddenly protecting me? I didn't want a direct confrontation with Xu Han, so I placed the bowl on the bedside table and stood up to move aside. Liu Ruyan looked displeased and said in a cold voice, I haven't finished the porridge yet. Eating a little less in the evening is good for your health. I smiled faintly. Before Liu Ruyan could even speak, Xu Han next to her had already sneered and said, I think you're scared of me, so you don't dare to sit here anymore, right? Miss Xu, you are both right and wrong. Haven't you noticed I always take a detour when I see you at school? I'm afraid of your queenly aura. My constitution is weak. If your queenly aura were to hit me, it would be a disaster if this little life of mine were to end. As I spoke, I bowed to her, with a very fawning attitude, but the words from my mouth somehow sounded off. Xu Han's face darkened considerably. In the past, when she bullied me, I didn't even dare to make a peep. Now, for the first time, she's facing my counterattack. It's making her unusually angry. Lin Feng, don't think that just because you married my sister, you've made it big and can look down on everyone. In my sister's eyes, you're nothing. You're nothing. Xu Han has always spoken harshly. I've heard these harsh words countless times in my past life. I've long since become immune. My expression changed slightly, but I still chuckled. Miss Xu, you're overthinking it. I've always had a very clear understanding of myself. You don't need to go to such trouble to intentionally remind me. My words sounded pleasant at first, but they made the listener feel uncomfortable and angry. But getting angry would make one seem too petty. Xu Han was disgusted. The best way to deal with this kind of person is to use the same method against them. Unfortunately, Xu Han doesn't understand this principle. I think you've really been living too comfortably. Xu Han strode quickly towards me. Her expression was fierce. If I don't teach you a lesson today, I, Xu Han, will write my name backward. My face was calm. I wasn't the least bit afraid. I even stood still without moving, this silly girl. If the story of a miss from the Xu family hitting a man gets in the news, not only the Xu family, but even the Liu family will be caught in a whirlwind of public opinion, leading to a drop in stock prices. The resulting losses would be immeasurable. Go on, make your move, don't dawdle. Liu Ruyan's face darkened. She snapped, Xu Han, are you treating me like I don't exist? Xu Han stopped in her tracks. She turned her head and said with a slight grievance, Sister, he's speaking so offensively. Who between you two is really speaking offensively? Liu Ruyan felt both amused and exasperated. She looked at Xu Han with a stern gaze. Even so, you can't hit a man. I wasn't going to hit him. No matter how bad I, Xu Han, am, I would never hit a man. She's quite principled. I clicked my tongue in regret. I asked with a provocative expression, you weren't going to hit me, so why were you storming over here? Were you perhaps going to give me a massage? Lin Feng Xu Han's eyes were bloodshot. She was almost fuming with anger. No one had ever been able to make her this angry. Although there's a first time for everything, she didn't hope the person giving her this experience would be Lin Feng. How could someone who used to only be fit to bow his head before her, not only raise his head now, but also deal her such a heavy blow? The more Xu Han thought about it, the more upset she got. I'm here. You don't need to call my name so loudly. I cleaned my ear, looking even more infuriating. Lin Feng, I don't know what got into you to dare to provoke me, but I'm not my cousin. You'd better watch out, Shu Han said through gritted teeth. Trying to scare me? I raised an eyebrow. Miss Shu, please don't. I'm really scared. Someone like you. I shouldn't have said that, should I? Sorry. It was a slip of the tongue. Miss Shu, you're a magnanimous person. Please don't take it to heart. Are you about to die from anger? Come on, hit me. In all her life, she had never met someone who actively asked to be beaten. Right now, Lin Feng is either out of his mind or he's mentally ill. Is this something a normal person could think of? Shu Han was truly about to explode with anger. Her fists clenched several times and then relaxed several times. Her whole face clearly said, I want to hit him so badly. But in the end, she knew that hitting a man was not behavior a woman should engage in. Moreover, it was in front of Liu Ruyan, so the anger stuck in her chest, and the fire of resentment in her stomach could not be released. One can imagine how uncomfortable it was. I saw that Shu Han was just glaring at me fiercely, with no intention of making a move. I knew it was useless to provoke her any further. I immediately lost interest. I turned and walked towards the water cooler to get some water. Looks like he'll have to find another way to teach her a lesson later. I have to teach her a profound lesson, so she won't dare to provoke me again. It would be best if she takes a detour whenever she sees me. Liu Ruyan heard my inner thoughts. Her expression darkened. Shu Han, don't provoke him in the future. Sister? Shu Han stared at her. Are you defending him again? I don't care. He humiliated me like this today. It'll definitely make him pay. I'm just afraid you'll be the one to suffer. Liu Ruyan let out an inaudible sigh. She said no more. Perhaps this cousin of hers really needed to be taught a lesson. Her body still ached from time to time. She had no energy to think about these things. She closed her eyes and said, You should go home. I want to rest. Sister, I'm leaving right away. But before I go, I have to ask you a few questions. Shu Han's angry expression changed. She sat down on the chair with a beaming smile. Liu Ruyan opened one eye to glance at her. What? Brother Fang Yuan is back, isn't he? Standing by the water cooler, holding a cup of water, I paused. I raised my eyes to look over. My ears also perked up. If you have nothing else to do, hurry up and go home. Liu Ruyan's expression was displeased. Compared to Liu Ruyan having a change of heart for Lin Feng, Shu Han believed she was just sulking with Fang Yuan, so she leaned in to persuade Liu Ruyan. Brother Fang Yuan has a proud temperament. Plus, he resents that you agreed with Grandpa back then to marry Lin Feng. It's normal for him to be angry with you, but now that he's finally willing to come back, you can't be angry with him too. What if he gets angry and leaves again, going abroad for several years without returning? You'll regret it then, but it'll be too late. That's right. If he goes abroad for another 5 years and he comes back, the child your sister and I have will be old enough to call him uncle. This follow-up comment of mine successfully made the two women's faces as ugly as if they'd eaten crap. How can there be someone who speaks so despicably? It's a miracle Lin Feng hasn't been beaten to a pulp growing up. Why are you all looking at me? I blinked. Was I wrong? You still want to have a child with my sister? You really don't look like much, but you sure dream big. Shu Han's face was full of ridicule. It's not that I'm dreaming big. Your sister and I are a legally married couple now. Think about it. A single man and woman living in the same room day after day and sleeping in the same bed at night. I don't believe that in 5 years. We wouldn't be able to make a child, unless your sister is incapable. After speaking, I looked towards Liu Ruyan. A meaningful smile appeared on my face. Liu Ruyan felt deeply humiliated. A blush spread across her face. It wasn't out of shyness, but purely out of anger. Aren't you forgetting another possibility? Liu Ruyan's beautiful face was frosty. I raised an eyebrow. What? Isn't it just not sleeping with me? I can guess all your little tricks. Being able to hear other people's inner thoughts, how can I make this superpower disappear? She's afraid that if it doesn't disappear, during this hospital stay, she'll lose at least 10 years of her life. Both of you, get out. Liu Ruyan closed her eyes wearily. I want to rest. Sister, you and brother Fang Yuan, didn't you hear what I said? Liu Ruyan's eyes snapped open. Her gaze was terrifyingly cold. My love life, since when is it your place to ask about it? Why don't you worry about yourself first? Anyone who knows Liu Ruyan knows that this look means she doesn't want to hear another word. Although Shu Han was unwilling, she still made the smart choice to leave quietly. After she was long gone, I acted as if nothing had just happened. I calmly went into the bathroom. When I came out, there were watermarks on my face. It was obvious I had just washed my face. I'm still young. This is the time when my skin is smooth. Plus, my skin is fair. My chiseled face under the light was like a peeled egg. It made one want to reach out and pinch it, to see if it felt like a peeled egg. Liu Ruyan stared at me. Her gaze was deep. A youth full of sunny vitality like this once loved her with his entire life, wholeheartedly, but she threw him away like a worn-out shoe. She couldn't imagine, before my rebirth, what kind of treatment she had subjected me to hear such mournful inner thoughts from me in the dead of night. Liu Ruyan's mood was complicated, but I didn't have so many complicated thoughts. Right now, I just want to get a good night's sleep so I can go to school tomorrow feeling refreshed. Until I lay down on the bed and got under the covers, I didn't even glance at Liu Ruyan. I completely treated her like thin air. A flash of displeasure appeared in Liu Ruyan's eyes. She coughed lightly, trying to get my attention. I guess I gave her some face. I looked at her. What's wrong? Is your throat bothering you? Yeah. Liu Ruyan coughed a few more times. Pour me some water. I had just lain down. I really didn't want to get up, but I had no choice. Finally, I reluctantly got out of bed. After pouring a glass of water and coming back, my movements as I gave Liu Ruyan a drink were clearly rough. It could no longer be called giving her a drink, but rather pouring water. Cough. Hey, Lin Feng. Finally, with my efforts, Liu Ruyan's defenses failed. She choked and coughed violently. Sorry, I'm too sleepy. So I was a bit distracted. This apology could be said to have absolutely no sincerity. It was just short of writing 6 words. On my face, I'm doing this on purpose. Who told you to torment me? Let's see if you dare to torment me again. May you die of thirst. My inner thoughts could be described as vicious. Sparks flew from Liu Ruyan's eyes. Just as she was about to teach me a lesson, she suddenly saw something. She was stunned. After a few seconds, her anger turned into a smile. Lin Feng, what are you using my towel for? I turned my head to look at the light blue towel hanging on the doorknob. I answered absent-mindedly, wiping my feet. That's the towel I use to wipe my face. For the past few days, the nurse has been using this towel to wipe her face every day. She was all too familiar with it. I put on a very exaggerated look of surprise. I didn't know. So the past few days I was here, I also used it to wipe my feet. Could it be that you... I didn't finish my sentence. Instead, I covered my mouth with my hand. I gave her a look that was both disgusted and a little pitying. Liu Ruyan said nothing. She just looked at me with a very cold gaze. After an unknown amount of time, the corners of her mouth slowly curved up. She let out a meaningful laugh. I suspect she's been driven mad by my provocations. What if I drive her crazy and she insists on getting out of her hospital bed to deal with me? That wouldn't be good. Maybe I should restrain myself a bit. Well, I was just kidding. Don't take it seriously. Liu Ruyan didn't believe my nonsense at all. Her face darkened as she called out, Juya, come in. My face stiffened. I had a bad feeling in my heart. This woman is up to no good. Juya had been standing outside the door all along. Hearing the call, she pushed the door open and walked in. Her eyes swept across my face. A hint of a smile flashed in her eyes. Miss Liu. Juya walked to the bedside and stood still. She bowed slightly. What are your instructions? Starting today, keep an eye on the man behind you. Don't let him take a single step out of this hospital. As soon as I heard that, I exploded. I yelled, on what grounds are you restricting my personal freedom? On the grounds that I am now your legal wife. Liu Ruyan sneered. Even if I wasn't, if I don't want you to leave this hospital, what can you do to me? I was so angry I was speechless. What's the fun in using power to crush people? Can't win against me, can you? This was the first time Liu Ruyan had seen me. So angry I was at a loss for words. Her mood immediately improved quite a bit. When you learn to be obedient, they'll let you go. Otherwise, you can just wait until I'm discharged. Then you can leave with me. I narrowed my eyes and looked at Liu Ruyan. Why was I so blind back then? To fall for this kind of woman? Was it just because she's beautiful? I didn't feel it before my rebirth, but now it seems it's most likely the case. Because after removing the rose-colored glasses, I've discovered that besides her beautiful appearance, there's nothing good about this woman. After hearing my inner thoughts, Liu Ruyan's eyes darkened. She understood that I resent her very much now. Treating me this way will only make me resent her more. But I've always been like a porcupine. The weak person inside me is heavily protected. Anyone who touches it gets pricked, full of aggression. She's already tried the soft approach. I don't want to talk to her nicely. Now she can only use this last resort. First, keep me by her side. Don't let me run around. Boil the frog in warm water slowly. Sooner or later, it'll calm down and talk to her. All right? Fine. What else can I do? I sat on the bed and started to give up. Then I won't go to school anymore. I'll just focus on taking care of you here. I looked at Liu Ruyan. I tilted my head, smiled, and continued. I promise I'll take good care of you. When you're discharged, you'll look like you were never in a car accident. It was obviously a sarcastic remark. It'd be strange if Liu Ruyan couldn't tell. But her expression didn't change. She nodded faintly and said, Okay. I hope you can do what you say. At this moment, my mind was blank. Liu Ruyan couldn't guess my thoughts either, so she didn't say anything more. I lay down on the bed again. Lying on my side facing the wall, I silently gritted my teeth. You damned woman. Putting me under house arrest, are you? Then just you wait. Before you're discharged, don't even think about having a peaceful day. You locked me up once in my past life. You took my life. This time, I won't let you order me around no matter what. Liu Ruyan was concentrating on listening to my inner thoughts. Her brows furrowed slightly. Locked me up once? Took my life? Locked me up where? Liu Ruyan continued to listen to my inner thoughts with questions in her mind, but she couldn't get any valuable information. She tilted her head to look at the young man on the other bed. She saw that I had turned over at some point. Facing her, eyes closed, drowsy with sleep. She gritted her teeth in anger. She's over here thinking about my rebirth, about what I went through, thinking until her head hurts. And I'm just great, falling asleep. You really have some nerve. Liu Ruyan fumed by herself for a long time, before she also closed her eyes to sleep. A dreamless night. When I woke up in the morning, Liu Ruyan was still asleep. I glanced at the phone on the bedside table. I picked it up and turned it on. Please bring my song to your home. Please leave your smile behind. A children's song echoed throughout the hospital room. Liu Ruyan, in her sleep, frowned deeply. She quickly opened her eyes. She looked at me with a face full of anger. What are you trying to do? Listening to music? I smiled brightly. I have a habit of listening to music when I wake up. Sorry, did I disturb you? You knew you would disturb me and you still turned it on? Liu Ruyan wished she could move. Otherwise, she would definitely get up and strangle this man. I shrugged. Usually, I wake up alone, so for a moment, I forgot about your existence. Liu Ruyan took a deep breath. A living person was lying right across from me, and yet I could say something like that. That's right, I did it on purpose. Turn it off for me, Liu Ruyan ordered coldly. Since you're already awake, why would I turn it off? Listen to some music with me for a while. Listening to music can make you happy. Once you're in a good mood, your body will recover faster. I'm doing this for your own good. If Liu Ruyan couldn't hear my inner thoughts, she might have actually believed this nonsense of mine. This man is just retaliating against her for not letting him leave the hospital. He's cursing her to death in his heart. I have plenty of time to teach you to be obedient. Liu Ruyan sneered. Let's see if you can endure it, or if I can. My eyes sharpened. I didn't say anything else. Besides scaring people, you don't know anything else, do you? Liu Ruyan's lips curled. Let's not worry about whether she knows anything else for now. This move is effective. As long as it can make me shut up and stop provoking people, that's enough. Juya brings breakfast every day at 7 o'clock sharp. As soon as it turned 7, Juya knocked on the door. Liu Ruyan looked at the hospital room door. Come in. As soon as she finished speaking, door was pushed open. Juya came in and placed 2 insulated lunchboxes on the bedside table. Then she bowed slightly and said to Liu Ruyan, Miss Liu, there's a document you need to look over. Liu Ruyan nodded faintly. I stared at Juya and asked, Are you the one standing guard outside every day? Don't you need to rest? I'm not always on guard here. Another colleague takes shifts with me to stand guard outside. After Juya opened the document, she turned her head and said slowly, That's quite a coincidence. Every time I come, it's you. The smile on my face was sweet. Under the sunlight from the window, I was handsome and charming. Liu Ruyan glanced at me. She felt a little annoyed, but she didn't say anything. Juya held the document. After Liu Ruyan finished reading a page, she would nod. Then she would turn the page. A stack of documents was quickly reviewed. You can sign for me, Liu Ruyan said in a faint voice. Yes. Juya closed the document. She was about to leave when I looked up at her. Have you had breakfast? Yes, I have. Juya paused for a moment. Then she added another sentence. Thank you for your concern. I smiled. I didn't say anything more. Juya, what are you still standing here for? Liu Ruyan looked at the two of us unhappily. Juya didn't dare to stay any longer. She nodded at me. Then she hurried out of the hospital room. Why be so fierce? Having a boss like that, I really feel sorry for Juya. Liu Ruyan laughed, an angry laugh. In my eyes, her suddenly laughing like that is actually quite scary. I looked away with a disgusted expression. Liu Ruyan was truly infuriated by me. She said coldly, Lin Feng, from now on, you will focus on taking care of me. If I'm not satisfied, I won't leave the hospital. What you're doing is so pointless. My expression turned ugly. Fang Yuan is back. Why don't you have him come take care of you? Why do you keep clinging to me? Liu Ruyan sneered. Because I want to. A mocking smile appeared on my face. I think you just can't bear to let him suffer. Liu Ruyan, could you be any worse? Is only Fang Yuan a person and I'm not a person but a ghost? If Liu Ruyan admitted to my words now, it would definitely provoke me. But Liu Ruyan didn't want me to despise her even more. So she slowly shook her head. I just feel that you're easier to order around. What the hell do you mean I'm easier to order around? The expression on my face was indescribable. Liu Ruyan, did the doctor say if there's anything wrong with your head right now? If there are no problems, I think it might be a misdiagnosis. Rest assured, my mind is perfectly fine. Liu Ruyan smirked. It's more than enough to teach you a lesson. Liu Ruyan's eyes were long and slender. When she wasn't smiling, she looked very cold, giving off a very unapproachable vibe. But when she smiled, she looked very charming, incredibly captivating. In the past, it was because of one of Liu Ruyan's smiles that I fell in love with her at first sight. Every time I met Liu Ruyan, I always hoped she would smile at me. Unfortunately, Liu Ruyan didn't like to smile. Even if she did, she only smiled at Feng Yuan. Towards me, she always had a cold expression. So after being reborn, I hated Liu Ruyan's smile. It was this very smile that once led me, step by step, into the abyss, from which I could never recover. My mood suddenly hit rock bottom. I avoided Liu Ruyan's gaze and said coldly, Suit yourself, I'm going to wash my face. After speaking, I quickly turned and entered the bathroom. Closing the door, I stood in front of the sink and turned on the tap. I set it to cold water, cupped a handful, and splashed it on my face. Before I was reborn, the trauma I suffered was too deep. Even though I've thought things through since being reborn, the pain I once endured was real. It can't just disappear. It will take a lifetime to heal. I can't go on like this anymore. Between me and Liu Ruyan, there should be a sufficient distance. I can't be affected by her even a little bit anymore. I'll just endure it until she's discharged from the hospital. From then on, she'll go her way and I'll go mine. We won't interfere with each other. Having made my decision, I finished washing my face and walked out of the bathroom. I walked to the bedside table and expressionlessly opened the 2 thermal lunchboxes. I prepared to feed Liu Ruyan. What I had just been thinking in the bathroom was all heard by Liu Ruyan. She looked at me with a complicated expression. She wanted to say something, but in a situation where I was extremely resistant to her, there was really nothing to say. After some thought, she chose to remain silent. I strictly followed the decision I had just made. In the bathroom, I obediently fed Liu Ruyan. I didn't say a single word during that time. The 2 of us once again fell into a strange silence. There wasn't even an inclination to break this silence. After I finished feeding Liu Ruyan, I opened the remaining thermal lunchbox to eat. After eating, I looked at Liu Ruyan and said casually, "I can't stay away from school for a long time. You'll help me sort it out, right?" Liu Ruyan nodded. "I'll have Zhu Ya inform your school." For Liu Ruyan, this was a trivial matter. Just one word was enough. This is the benefit of having money and power. You can solve 99% of your troubles. The rest is because you're not rich or powerful enough. Thanks. I stood up from the chair. I'm going to get the medicine from the nurse. The nurse will come by herself later. I acted as if I didn't hear Liu Ruyan's words, turned around and left. I just wanted to do my best to spend less time in the same space as Liu Ruyan. The less, the better. Otherwise, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to resist mocking her again. Pay less attention to Liu Ruyan. This phrase will be my motto for the time being.